What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Hope all you guys at Daytona had a great time. I hope that some of you met Rusty from D&D over there. Great guy, builds a great exhaust system, and you guys can always check him out at dndexhaust.com, as well as go on Facebook and Instagram at dndexhaust. You can always phone in to order 844-DND pipe, and don't forget to use Fast Life for a percentage off at checkout, whether you call in or you go online. But yeah, I hope you guys checked it out, man. It looks like everybody was out there in Daytona having a good time, and I saw the Proper Baggers dude hanging out over there at the D&D booth, and I saw Rusty's new bike over there that he just finished up. It looks super dope. So like I said, I hope you guys got a chance to meet that great guy, so check him out. Also, guys, man, it's coming down. Giddy Up is next weekend. This is going down soon. So any of you guys coming out that are gonna, want to camp, I did a little research today. So it's $10 per night. You don't have to set up beforehand unless you're trying to get electricity or anything fancy like that. But if you're just gonna tent camp, just show up. $10 per night. Your bike gets in free. If you got a car, you're gonna have to pay $10 per night for that as well. As I said before, me and Mark from over there at Texas Performance are going to be sharing a booth at Giddy Up. I won't be selling shit. I will probably be hungover or continuing to drink. So, just be ready for that. But like I said, don't forget, you can always check out Mark at Texas Performance MC. We were down there at his shop last weekend trying to dyno tune the Road Glide. And, need to get some more power out of that damn thing. You know what I mean? Need to do some cams in there or something, But you can always go check him out as well, man. You can go take your bike to him. I've seen a couple dudes from the podcast with their bikes down there. So thank you guys for, trusting Jesus. You know what I mean? No, just trusting Mark. He's a thorough mechanic, a thorough guy that really takes a lot of pride in his work. And you can't ask for a better guy to turn wrenches on your bike. So check him out on Instagram as well at Texas Performance MC. And if you guys don't know, our camp out is coming up. The one we do at Adam Sandoval's campground, K River in Moyers, Oklahoma. And I'm hoping you guys are going to come out. It's going to be a good time, man. We're going to be there from April 26th which will be a Friday, until Sunday, April 28th. You can go to scootingamericaresort.com, and if you want to get a cabin, or if you're going to bring an RV or something like that, and you can kind of, see what's available. But same thing as Giddy Up. Just if you just want to come tent camp with us, you just come out. Now, I want to say it's $15 a night, and like I said, Adam Sandoval does a lot for the motorcycle community, and all the money that's pretty much from this thing just goes to Adam Sandoval and the things that he's doing and trying to keep that guy on the road. And we're just trying to party and drink beer and ride highways and tell stories about it. So I hope you guys come out, man. I'd like to meet more of you, and I hope you guys if you're riding solo and you don't really have the people to make these trips with, then come meet them at this camp out. That's what it's for. It's for everybody to kind of like grow on their friends in this motorcycle community. We've had people last time that came from everywhere: New Orleans, Michigan, Kansas, Louisiana, which I think is New Orleans, Texas, Oklahoma. Like, meet these people, and then you'll have someone to go see again when you go on a trip. So that's what it's about, and I hope you guys come through. I also want to thank Paint Huffer Metal Flake for continuing to support this podcast. We got to get another painter on here pretty soon to spread the paint love, I guess you'd say. But you can always go to painthuffer.com if you're interested in any of the flakes and pearls and other products like House of Color and FBS tapes that they sell, as well as you can go on Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and see tons and tons of really, really badass artwork from very talented people across the United States, across the world, to be honest with you. So check those guys out over there, and thank you, Brian, for everything you do for this podcast and the custom paint community as a whole. Man, thank you guys for continuing to just, I don't know if I was crying and bitching enough and everybody started helping out with the Patreon, but I want to thank you guys a lot. Some of them I got right here. Jerry Jones, thank you for your support. Let's see who else came through recently. Where you at? Tobias Rasmussen. I hope I didn't fuck that up. Everybody on here that's a Patreon guy has the most complicated last names I've ever seen. every week. Every time I try to pronounce these, it's like I'm just screwing it up. So I appreciate it, and I'm sorry. Thank you. I just said thank you. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, I want to thank you guys for continuing to do that. You can always go on our website, the fastlifegarage.com, and on that front page is a link to Patreon. All it takes is $1. That's it. That's all we really ask. If you're going to do it, if you want more to do more, that's cool as well. But, like I said, it's helping fund this podcast and making some of these more extravagant things that we want to do become a reality. And, yeah, really excited for that. So thank you guys for doing that. Also, hope you guys check out our personal Instagram page for the podcast, which is the Fast Life Podcast, all one word. And just go ahead and like that or follow it or however that works. And, we're going to try to bring more content about our guests so that, you'll be able to see what's going on. And, yeah, that's what we're doing. This week, we got DumpTruck, man. I know you guys know who that is. He's the one that did the commercial riding the Sportster in his underwear. That was pretty much all you saw on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube or whatever you saw videos on for a couple of months, and this dude does a lot in the industry, and he's kind of everywhere. And so really enjoyed the conversation we had, and I enjoyed his insights on life. And it's, as always, it's helped me kind of, narrow and understand my views better. So without further ado, man, check him out. Here's DumpTruck.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
Yeah, I'm here.
He's a new setup I haven't used before.
You got it?
How's that sound, all right?
Yeah, it sounds good, man.
Sounds good. Does it turn you on?
So how you doing, man? How's that flight back from New York City?
Oh, man, it was good. The people I flew out with, they set me up pretty strong. I wasn't in first class, but I was in like Delta Comfort Plus. And Delta Comfort Plus is kind of damn amazing. You get all the leg and shoulder room in the world. And you also get free cocktails for any flight that's over 250 miles.
Well, pretty much anything on a Delta flight is considered first class for guys like me who ride Spirit mainly.
Oh, man, Spirit, what a jerk that place is. They're terrible. I mean, I hate them so much. But, yeah, I haven't ridden Delta in forever, man. Like, I usually use United, and then I just started riding Delta again this year, and I'm extremely impressed. So the flight home was good. I had a bunch of cocktails. I wrote an email I've been neglecting to write to my friends at the Harley-Davidson Museum, where I MC every Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing the Four Corners motorcycle rally, so I've been trying to swallow my balls and like write that email and talk to them and just be like, hi, so I'm no longer going to be doing your event.
Yeah, because that's the same weekend. I've been working.
Yeah, so it's like I had to tell them no and then tell the other crew yes. And then it took me about a week to write the email. So I'm sitting there just slamming down vodka, sitting on the airplane, just typing away this email and editing it and just like, I really have to send this? I sent it before I landed. I'm like, fuck it, I'm sending it right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it was good. It was received well, so.
Yeah, so I was looking at your Instagram, and I was just kind of scrolling back just to kind of get a better feel of like all the things you're into, and it just seems like you're kind of like the guy at all these shows, man. You're like the MC of everything. You know what I mean? So how'd you fall into that?
To get to do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd I get into MCing and everything?
Yeah.
I got out of the Navy and went back to Memphis, Tennessee, where I was from at the time, and graduated high school and all that, and I ended up getting into radio. I was also a bouncer, like on Beale Street and whatnot, but I did radio DJ stuff there for a while, and ended up moving to Denver, Colorado, just for something different, and fell into roller derby announcing. And then from roller derby announcing, from roller derby announcing, like all over the country and all over Australia and Canada, there was a concert festival that was coming through town, and they just lost their MC, and one of their production crew was on the touring crew. And they're like, well, you need to hire DumpTruck. He does all the roller derby. He'll be crazy. He's a lot of fun. And so my first professional gig was 30,000 people in a crowd, and Gnarls Barkley's headlining. And I'm like, I got a big ass mohawk, I got a shitty goatee on, just
How long ago was that?
stupid redneck with a dumb haircut, having a good time. That was, when was that? That was probably 2008 or 2009, one of those. I think it was 2008. And I was with like Southern Comfort, which is part of like the overall brand of like Jack Daniels and whatnot. And I still MC events for Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I noticed that. Well, that shit's badass because I think I saw on your Instagram a couple weeks back you're hanging out with Big Boy and Glenn Rice, the old basketball player, and all that shit.
Dude, those dudes are so nice. They are the nicest people ever.
That's awesome, man.
It was, the Jack Daniels and the NBA have a partnership. So now, like we were in Charlotte for the NBA All-Star games.
Yeah.
And we had like two nights of a big party, and I'm like the big ringleader of bad decisions at the party. And I also got to introduce all these folks on stage. So I don't usually take the opportunity to meet like the talent that plays on stage and whatnot, because they have to deal with that shit anyways. And it's not like we're going to become like chums for the rest of our lives or nothing. So, but those dudes were rad. Like they were really fun to hang out with. They're like, come over here. Like, all right, you're damn right I'm going to come over there.
Yeah.
So you got a fat blunt in your hand, and I want to sit down.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool to be able to do a gig like that. And how and basically, so when did like motorcycles become a thing for you, or was that kind of always there?
Motorcycles, like as a lifestyle, that probably started in 2008 as well. Really, I got my first Sportster. My old man bought one for my mom, and he had just bought a motorcycle. Like motorcycling, like really isn't a heritage in my family. But like he had a bike, and so he bought one for mom so they could ride together. And she sat down on it, and he looked at how nervous she was. And he goes, "Nope." And so then that Sportster just sat in the garage and sat in the garage and sat in the garage, and I ended up with my hands on the damn thing. And it was great because I did some research on the bike, and my dad said he had it repainted because it had an inappropriate paint job on it. I have pictures of it too, and it has pictures of these dolphins and porpoises with tits that are all over this thing, and like a shrimping boat on the left side of the fat bomb tank. It's like somebody took a sports and tried to make it look like a soft tail. And then they added like all this completely sleazy paint, and I didn't know that was there until I got rid of all the tins and the tanks and everything. I was just like, what? I could have like gone like removed that red paint and seen the fucking dolphin tits on there. I'd still have that shit on the motorcycle now.
Dude, fucking people back in the day are crazy.
That's when I started daily riding. Oh yeah, they were. They would be just about what the fuck ever. There were no rules. Inappropriate was the name of the game.
Yep, scare the squares.
Damn right. L7's not for me, baby.
So basically, you started getting into bikes then, and then you just kind of like use the MCing gig as like your job for the most part, and
sorta. Like in 2008 when I got that bike, that's when I started riding daily, and I've been riding daily ever since. And I was living in Denver, Colorado at the time, and so I really learned how to like ride in the Rockies. That's like really where I learned how to like actually be able to get down and do some dumb shit and have some fun. And then that was it was kind of like actually over cocktails. One night in Denver, I had a friend of mine that was touring came through, and his production staff and whatever came out, and they're like, dude, we don't know where to drink. I was like, all right, well, I worked in the bars in Denver as well, so I was like, go here, go here, go here. They're like, you have to meet us, fine. So I went out, had some beers, conversation, met some folks. Like 3 months later, I get this random phone call from one of the dudes that I'd met, and he was working with Harley Davidson Motor Company for their event at Daytona Bike Week in 2009, and wanted to use me as their MC. And he never even heard me MC before. He was just like, I just like hanging out with you. I bet you'd be good on the microphone. I was like, I hope so. People have been paying me for a little while. And we went out there and Daytona Bike Week 2009, and that was my first time MCing for Harley Davidson. I was like, he goes, you have a motorcycle, don't you? I was like, do I have a motorcycle? I was like, I'm about to sell my car to get another one. And I ended up doing that for sure. But that's how like the whole motorcycle involvement really happened. Because I've always just ridden by myself. I never really like had a squad or nothing like that. Still kind of don't. I'd like it. That would probably be cool to have one of those. In Long Beach, California, I had a tough group.
It's a lot of work, man. When you get a lot of friends and bikes, you feel you feel obligated to be everywhere all the time, and which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, but it does kind of make it hard to kind of like navigate the waters a little bit sometimes. When you come to a place like LA and you got so many people there that you want to hang out with, and they're all over the fucking place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is crazy saturated there. That's really the first place where I would say that's definitely the first place where I even considered myself to be like an actual part of a motorcycle community, like to where like you're actually all friends and homies, and we know each other well, and we don't see each other once a year. We see each other like, every a lot of times all throughout the week, every week, but like even the random ones you still see at least once a month and you get to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't know anybody. I was on tour. I had just moved to Long Beach not long before, and I'd come back to my storage unit basically for like a week to figure out what my next move was, what next event I was going to, because I just lived on the bike and rode from one event to the next for like, I don't know, about 8.5 years.
How was that, man?
Unit.
Like, how was that just being that kind of like not being stuck anywhere? I know it's got to have its pros and cons, right?
It definitely has its pros and cons, and that's like a super long time doing it. I was really lucky to where I had like a couple of friends here and there that were like, dude, I know you don't have a house. I know you're just like on the road doing your thing. So if there's ever time you need to check in and, wipe your ass and wash your nose, and then, just come over to our spot. And I'm like, all right. And I would take, someone's going to offer it. I'll totally do that. And I'll try to make sure that I don't overstay my welcome and be sweet and clean up after myself and all those good things. And it's usually just for a little bit because like my whole lifestyle was really built on chasing paychecks. Like, whether it be concert festivals, marketing events, or like there was a few years where I was the announcer for Harley at the NHRA races all over the country. And so like, that's like 24 gigs in 26 weeks or something like that. It's a lot.
Damn.
And so it's just like one race to the next, one race to the next, one race to the next, one race to the next. Like one time I went 5 months and 2 days and went 31,334 miles and through all 48 contiguous states just going to get a fucking paycheck.
That's crazy.
So it was nuts. It was rad, but it was like, it was the way I could actually like maximize my profit margin and also really enjoy myself while I was doing it. I learned a lot during the whole experience. I learned a lot about myself and, what you do and don't need to be doing on the road, things to look out for, people to look out for.
Yeah. That kind of goes well with that conversation me and you were having when I was on my way back from Cali a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, that's really cool that like I've always wanted to kind of do something like that as well, even though I don't really see it in the foreseeable future. There's definitely something very like, I don't know if the word is romanticized about that, like just having that like, continuous on the road feeling, you know what I mean? But I know it'll
like
wear
every
thin.
day is new. It can wear thin. It wore thin for me because the purpose wasn't for me. The purpose was that is how I made my living. And if you want to do it really regular, and for some of the clients that I was working with at the time, like they wouldn't take care of hotel. They wouldn't take care of food. They wouldn't take care of travel, which are all just the cost of doing business with, I would say, 95% of people that would hire you to do work.
Yeah.
But like for me, I had run out of money. I had like $110 or something like that in the bank. And I just finished taking like all these security courses for the state of California, like exposed firearm and handcuffing, like all this stuff. I'm just waiting for my paperwork to get in so I get a damn job.
Yeah.
And shit never came. I never, ever saw it. Contacted the school. They said they mailed it twice. Never saw that shit. And, but like at the same time, that's when Harley called and said, we have the NHRA. And the NHRA series turned immediately into the IMS series. And then IMS turned right back into NHRA series. So, I mean, there was quite a few years to where it was just nonstop go.
Were those companies?
And it was crazy.
Were those companies taking care of you a lot better than the other stuff, or was it kind of still on the fringe of like not covering much of the expense?
Oh, not taking care of much of anything. Like the only reason I got to do those jobs is because of the kindness of my friends. I'll be like, hey, I'm coming to town to ask to go to work, but they don't cover this cost for me. And if I want to actually, like, I don't know, eat and fill my motorcycle up with fuel, then I need to be able to have a place to stay. But so it was really fun, though. It wasn't like a burden. Yeah. It was like, hey, every single weekend I'm going to go see a different group of friends that I fucking love so much.
Yeah.
And like in the very beginning, I stayed with all roller derby people. It was all roller derby folks all over the country. So I'd be staying with roller derby friends that I've known for probably like 6-8 years already to go to a motorcycle event to go to work. And slowly but surely over time, like, the motorcycle definitely took over.
Yeah.
And now my life is primarily, not necessarily V-twins, but mostly V-twins.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's like the whole life. All my friends are at the show. That's one of the reasons why I can't stop going to these motorcycle shows. I don't work at Mama Tried when I go to Mama Tried.
Yeah.
I don't work at the one show. But I know it's where all my homies are, and if I don't get to see them, then that sucks.
Yeah, it might be the only time in some of those cases, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the most attractive things about things like Sturgis is like you have such a massive family reunion from all over the planet that show up, and if you get lucky enough and you take the opportunity to go travel and see some motorcycle shows that aren't in your backyard, that's really when you want to go to like the rally scenes and stuff like that, because you just get together and set your hair on fire and have a good time. It's awesome.
Dude, I've never had a bad time at Sturgis. That's a fact. Ever.
Oh, I have. I totally have.
You've probably been a lot more times than I have then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was working at it to begin with. I started working like over Lavelle Street for Harley, doing all their microphone work. And then I looked around going, why am I working here? Like, I'm supposed to be one of these dumbasses running around having a great time.
Yeah.
So I stopped working Sturgis. I would pick up little random things. Like, if I go to Sturgis, I'll end up emceeing some stuff because people will be like, oh, hey, who's in town that's emceeing?
Yeah.
And I just like pick up a little gig here, a little gig there, and just enjoy your day and have minimal responsibilities and run around in the Speedo and a smile on my face. Where
did that shit come from? You're like the Burt Kreischer of the motorcycle industry right now.
That's amazing. You sound like you had a boner when you said that.
I did a little bit.
I really don't know. I've never really been much for pants. I'm not wearing pants right now. True story. Yeah, it's I don't know. Pants are for people with something to hide, I guess.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been that way. I'm the dude that'd end up walking through your boring ass house party with nothing on but a sock just to make sure that somebody laughed at something, because all y'all motherfuckers staring at the wall trying to be cool.
Yeah,
I'm trying to party. Yeah, everybody's on their phone, or you're not a part of their little boring ass fucking clique, and so they're just gonna look at you from across the room. I'm gonna come over and give you a big old hug with a sock over my dick. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, that's cool.
And like in roller derby, like one of the things I was known for is the stuff that I would wear. Like I dressed like Officer Dangle. I'd come out in a cheerleading uniform and like all that kind of stuff. And it was just, I don't know. He just kind of kept going. And you go to these motorcycle shows, it's super fucking hot outside.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, everybody's sweating and I'm fucking grinning.
Yeah, this shit's pretty cool, man. Like, you got more confidence than I think I'm going to have for at least a couple more years. I think
we'll get there together.
Yeah, I'm still a little self-conscious about certain things, but, you know, that's kind of I've always told myself, it's like, because I'm at the fringe now. Like, I'm definitely... A six-pack is definitely not something that's ever going to be a part of my life, but I feel like I can still...
But they are delicious.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like I can still kind of like stay kind of skinny if I go work out a little bit, but it's getting to a point where I'm like, fuck it, man. I like beer and partying way too much and riding bikes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I am living, breathing, howling at the moon proof. There's nothing wrong with wearing a Speedo with a body that looks like it holds a keg at a time.
I guess that's what it is, man. It's like you just got to have the confidence to rock it, and then it doesn't, you know, it's like if you're laughing at yourself, then nobody can really. It's like you're rabbiting yourself. You know what I mean? You're like,
yeah. Well, it's like a lot of people think that, like, you know, running around like that is for attention, and what it is because I'm actually comfortable with shit, and I'm getting away with not wearing pants in public. So, fuck you.
Joke's on you.
I do it because I want. Yeah, because I mean, everybody's got haters. They're all over the place. If you do anything fun, somebody's gonna hate you for it.
Yeah.
And I've had some people be like, "Oh, you just want attention." I was like, "If I want attention, I'll go get some damn attention. What I want to do is just not wear pants." So I don't know what your problem is. I'm just trying to party, and I always have a lot more fun with no pants on. So fuck off.
That's fucking cool. So basically, man, just like you were just on the road like that. I mean, that's got to be insane, just going across the country back and forth. Like, how was it on the bike? You were doing that on that Sportster?
I did it on a street glide. I've done it on a Sportster cross country. I have an '89 Sporty. The motor's actually getting some work done by Mr. Josh Runlet at RPM.
Yeah, those are the dudes that I rode next to those dudes at the Hot Bike Tour in 2017, and they're the ones that kind of turned me onto the performance bagger shit. Riding next to those guys for, hours through Tennessee.
Couldn't be any nicer, man. Josh is from Iowa, built up on hot rods and motorcycles since he was a kid, and now he's like one of the mad scientists of fuel injection V-twins, and he just loves it. So I've got that S&S 1250 kit, the hooligan kit.
Yeah.
And then he's doing some head work, and we're gonna put some racing heads on it, and then polish it up and see if I can't hurt myself.
So you still got that street glide? You end up getting rid of that?
Oh no, that street glide is. I got the motor in my van. I got run over in Long Beach, California, about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
A friend of mine, Lon, he was right behind me, and we're going on Redondo, like a block away from the red light where we were just sitting still, and these two cars are coming the opposite direction. Didn't know it, but they had been racing, doing hot laps.
Wow.
And they made a left-hand turn 15 feet in front of me, and I was going about 40, 45 miles an hour. So I had to bank left into oncoming traffic, and I'm splitting lanes with cars going the opposite direction and on both sides. And I missed the first car altogether. I don't know how. Like I reacted just fast enough to not die.
Yeah.
And didn't see the second car because the second car was drafting so close you couldn't see the headlights. The first one was out the damn way. So I was already moving back in my own lane so I could get out of fucking coming traffic. And then it was like, shit, another car. And I had to bank left again, but I couldn't miss it. I missed both head-on collisions. But I ended up broadsiding it, flew off the bike, bounced like 4 times. I could hear the bike coming right behind me, ass over T-cuddle. I'm just praying it doesn't fucking hit me. And, I just sat up in the middle of the road and looked at myself. I was like, well, my PTSD and anxiety is about to fire the fuck off. This is going to suck. And just started touching my body to see if anything was broken. I was like, well, my right leg's stuck, so let's use the left leg. Got out of the street and elevated my feet and my head and wrapped myself around and kept talking to myself, trying to avoid going through shock.
Damn.
And that motorcycle is no more. But now I've got an FXR.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it funded the FXR purchase, and that thing doesn't like me very much, but I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah, they're temperamental. Yeah, I saw that.
I call her the cock blocker. She breaks every single time. Probably gonna go hang out with some girl.
that's a good name for it then. Yeah, I saw that you were like you had did some work to it, and you were about to go on like a 4-show trip or something like that. And then
oh yeah, man, I had a 5,000-mile trip planned. I went about 600 miles of it. I ended up getting stuck in Nevada City, California for the entire time I was supposed to be on the road, going from one event to the next, making money. And it was also supposed to be my last official road life tour.
Like a farewell.
Because that's what's been. Yeah, it's like it's time for me to do something a little bit different. Have an address. Maybe don't squat in a warehouse. Maybe actually have an actual residence where I live, where I don't have to build a loft and build a shower.
Yeah.
And you just kind of do some normal things. Not too normal, but a little bit normal.
A little more.
And that trip just never happened. It just never happened. Like it had enough miles for a shakedown for me to really have things come to light.
Yeah.
So I saw it, and I noticed something was wrong when my thunder header had cracked. And I was like, okay, well, what's causing the thunder header to crack? And then found out that my front motor mount was blown out. So I changed that, and I ride. It's still committing to one side too quick. And then I noticed that my swing arm bushings were blown out. So I got to replace those fucking things. And then I realized that my motor is out of alignment. And it wasn't my doing because I didn't adjust the motor. And so whoever, because it's an 80 frame and an 85 motor. So it's got the spleen shaft transmission on it. And, 85 frame, 90 motor.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh. Yeah, 85 frame, 90 motor. And whoever put that in there just didn't have it perfectly straight, which was knocking everything else out of whack.
Yeah.
And then once that was done, suddenly I was getting an internal noise from my crank case. I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't win. I just cannot win. It was like every single time I picked something else broke. But with one shop that was there, fixed the internal noise. I actually finally had to drop it off to a shop because once I heard the internal motor noise, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm not even going to try. I don't have a shop. I don't have specialty tools here. Like, I just need to take it somewhere. And took it to this dude to fix the bike for me, mostly. I had to do some more adjustments afterwards, but whatever. And I couldn't even get an exhaust pipe like in time, like not one that would be good for the bike.
Yeah.
And so I talked to a Fab 28 and was able to make my way down there. And they were able to get me a good solid FXR pipe, put that on the bike, and then I was finally on my way 500 miles back home. Like, I didn't get anywhere.
And you were staying up in Oregon, right?
Yeah, I had just moved to Oregon. I only lived here for like 3 weeks before I hit the road for like almost 3 months.
Nice.
And and it was just, shit was so stressful. I went completely broke 2 different times where I had to hustle and figure out how to make some money and book some events and like do these other things and just kind of, because I had to figure out how to afford to get home because the bike like took all of my money. I had to figure out how to afford to get home and afford to pay for the motorcycle to get fixed.
Yeah.
And for all the other parts that have been going on. I was just like, God, I was supposed to be out here on the road making money. I ain't stopped spending it yet.
Well, yeah, Jay,
but I'm home. I did make it home.
Yeah, Jay's a good dude at Fab 28. He's definitely there to take care of people. So
Jay is a really good human being. I really enjoy getting to spend time with he in the shop.
So once you got back from that, like, what was the next like idea or gig that you were going to try to like pursue?
I wanted to get a job. I hadn't had a job in 10 years.
Yeah.
I have plenty of work, just it's all freelance. So it's like, I've been doing the hustle and I'm tired, and I wanted to start riding motorcycles because I wanted to go somewhere, not because I had to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only way for me to get there and make money. Like, it started to make me not want to ride.
Yeah.
And just like not really be stoked on it too terribly much. And then like after that, my motorcycle decided to be a stupid bitch and break every 15 seconds. So that didn't help the situation. So I was pretty butthurt,
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be. I love my fucking motorcycles. I put hundreds of thousands of miles down. I want to do more. So I'm just changing the game. I do carpentry when I'm here at home 5 days a week when work's available.
Mm-hmm.
And my boss is a dope ass guy. And used to be in a touring band, so he understands that I need to like go do an event here and there so I can take days off work without anybody giving me hassle, which is really rare and really awesome. I'm very, very grateful to have that kind of freedom and have a regular like construction gig.
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm still doing like voiceover work and all that kind of stuff, but it's just all supplemental. It's in the background. I get home, I plug away, I work hard, getting all my shit straight and my life in order and saving money so I can go do some bigger trips.
That's
I
cool.
want to ride international. Yeah. I want to go to the East Coast just to go hang out with some friends instead of going out to the East Coast, working an event, and happen to be hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to
focus on it.
One of my biggest goals is like doing some more, like riding through South America, Europe, like that real, round the world type shit. You know what I mean? But
absolutely,
I still feel like I'm a good 10 years away from any of that kind of travel right now. But I don't know. We'll see. I've been wanting to do it for about 2 years now, and it's just out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Well, like everything else, you never know until you try. Like I've never ridden internationally, and I'm gonna. Mm-hmm. I've already got an Australia trip that's already planned out, and bikes are pretty much sorted out once I'm able to, to build my own budget to go on that vacation, which is a word I've never used in my entire life before. Then I've already got like a really solid adventure plan there. My friend Bear works with a group known as Himalayan Heroes.
Yeah.
And they go over there and ride all over these crazy backcountry on Royal Enfield. And it looks like it was a blast.
Yeah.
I have another friend that organizes tours to like Morocco and stuff like that. I'm just like, yes, give me that. I want to do that. I love the United States. I've ridden a motorcycle in every state but Alaska, and that one's definitely on my list to cross off. But I'd like to go like see how other people do it. I miss international travel. And I think it's time to kind of spread the wings out and help everybody get a little bit weird.
Yeah, I had noticed that like Beaner was doing that kind of stuff too, and a few other people had those kind of like trips where you can kind of come aboard and things like that. And I guess I never really considered doing that. I was always just thinking about like the whole, like just roughnecking it and just jumping on a bike and be, all right, well, I'm going to South America. I got this planned, but it's kind of like a solo thing. You know what I mean? But it makes more sense to do it with
I mean, like, it all depends on what you want. Like, I like the organized trip ones because, like, you can have a little bit of luxury in there, and luxury doesn't mean, like, 5-star hotel rooms. It means a hotel room. Yeah. That's what luxury is to me. So it's like, you have a couple of things that are planned out, some tour guide-y type stuff, so you get to see things beyond the motorcycle experience while you're in these countries. Mm-hmm. And but definitely, like, Australia, like, that trip for me, I'm just planning a trip. And I'm getting my motorcycle, and I know where I'm going to go, and I know how I'm going to get there, and I know some of the people I'm going to see, but that kind of a trip for me is just more like pointing in a direction and going somewhere and seeing what goes down.
I've always heard a lot of people wanting to do more of the New Zealand trip, not so much the Australia. Is there some nice shit down there other than just, be in Australia?
Oh, well, I mean, just being in Australia is pretty great. Yeah. Australia is wonderful. I went there a bunch when I was in the Navy on the east, west, and southern coast. Mm-hmm. And I just love it. And there's a lot of people there I'd like to revisit. I've been there quite a few times since. Mm-hmm. And I've got family there as well. Oh, that's cool. Like getting up towards Brisbane and Toowoomba, I'd be able to get to see some family that probably haven't seen me since I was 8 years old. And my beard's a lot longer now than it was then. So it'd be a lot of fun to do it. And I've always wanted to tough it out through parts of the outback and just take something and challenge myself. And go through an area where you have to pack everything with you, including fuel and food, like all that kind of stuff for certain stretches of road. Yeah. You already know that if you're not hydrated, you can really screw yourself over with heat exhaustion. Like, it's good to challenge yourself like that. So that trip would have it'd have some family, it'd have personal, physical, and potentially mental challenge. And then end up down like Adelaide and Melbourne and like coming all the way back up the coast and just getting that beautiful run and all the great food and drink and crazy awesome people and coastal the whole way. Just be beautiful.
Where do you think is probably
get through a little bit of hard shit in the beginning?
Where do you think is probably like in the United States has probably been your favorite place to ride or just being out on the road or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, which areas do you think are really your favorites?
My favorite, like, Oregon's definitely one of them, especially like the western third of Oregon. That's like the green part of it. Mm-hmm. Oregon's got deserts, they got mountains, they got rivers, they've got lakes, they've got plains. They've obviously got the forest, they've got coast. Like, you can see all these different biospheres in one state. And it's a really, really great place to ride. Lots of 2-lane roads. Like, I live in Portland, and it's only about 35 minutes. I'm completely out of the city.
Nice.
And you're like right in the middle of nature already, like heading up to Mount Hood or going up to, to get a burger at some random spot or Skyline Drive. Like, there's just all these things that are super close and tangible. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful and the roads aren't super populated. The Midwest is gorgeous in the summertime. Going through there plenty of times, like from Sturgis on the way to Milwaukee from like one gig to the next, like getting a ride through like Minnesota and Wisconsin and just seeing how full and thick that is. If you like anything outdoors up there, it's just beautiful. It's not a high populated area, so like you've always got some kind of 2-lane road that are easy to grab onto. But the Blue Ridge Parkway and like Tail of the Dragon and Green-Eyed Snake and that whole area, like in the Smokies, that is probably my number one place to ride in the country. That is, especially now they just redid the blacktop like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I think 2017 Hot Bike Tour was like right after they had done the blacktop.
Yeah, I did. That's when I did that Blue Ridge, and I did the Tail of Dragon and a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I agree. The riding over there is insane. It's like even the turnoffs off the main road just through regular areas have amazing riding. You know what I mean? Like, it's all curvy. Yeah, there's
no wrong way to go.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then all the towns are very kind of got that old vibe to it. The settlers moving west kind of vibe, you know what I mean? And I loved it, man. And plus, it's every time I'm around those areas, like the North Carolina and all that stuff, you just feel like there's like real history that took place around here, Not that history didn't take place everywhere else, but the old history, from America and shit. So
yeah, a lot of the history that really, started to shape some of the initial like ideals and whatnot of our nation. Definitely came from that area, and it does have that feel to it. There's not. I mean, your residential areas like that, it has nothing to do with like major metropolitan areas at all. It's not necessarily rural. It's just life happening along a river in a canyon. It's just that's where the life is. And like the homes are still really old, and there's not like Walmarts all over the place or anything like that. There's little mom and pop shops. So it's like it's definitely like stepping out and getting back in touch with like, you know, a simpler side of life. And then you've got that beautiful nature that's everywhere, bitching roads and more turns and you can break your neck with. Yeah,
definitely that. I've been wanting to take another trip out there, just like no events or anything, just kind of go out there for the hell of it and just ride it, take some more friends that haven't been out that way. But you know, most of my friends that ride, like they all want to go west, and you know, none of them have really done the California riding and the here and in between riding. So it's like every year I got a new group of friends that want to do the California trip. So I find myself doing that yearly, as opposed to like being able to have somebody that's done the trip with me 3 or 4 times that wants to go east. You know what I mean? And I don't know as many people east, so it's weird to.
There's some great people out east, man.
Oh yeah,
great people out east. You know, and I get the California riding thing. I was out there for about 8 years. You know, obviously like not full time, but that's where I, you know, got my mail from a friend's house, or my storage unit was located. Actually, I still have a storage unit.
Yeah.
But it's, to me, the biggest attractive thing about California riding is the regular temperature and the fact that you're probably not going to have to deal with any kind of real weather.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're riding through a lot of the desert, and it's not like Arizona or New Mexico desert. It's just like sand. And I don't know. I feel like the biggest attraction to that area of riding is the level of community that's there.
Yeah.
It is like the number of people that ride, the number of people that ride together. And every 15 minutes, there's some other kind of motorcycle party or, you know, psych rock party, something that's just relevant to the community somewhere going on. So it's like always popping. There's always things happening. It's where a lot of the ingenuity and the custom side of motorcycling comes from, for sure. And like even the style influence.
Yeah.
A lot of it does come from that area. It's just like almost like a big source of its heartbeat. One of them. There's more than one of those places, but that's really what attracts me to riding in California, are all the people that are there and like the energy around it. And there's just so many things to do that are built around motorcycles instead of it just being this one small niche wherever you might live. In California, it's a huge niche.
Yeah.
And it's really, really rad to be a part of.
You know, all across the country, there's, you know, everybody has their little bike communities and stuff. And everybody, you know, within those communities, all of them have people that are like, that really diehard motorcyclists that live, eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. You know what I mean? But it seems like there's just more of that in California. It's just way more of a way of life, you know, and then, of course, being able to lane split, it just makes the commute so much more attractive to ride a bike year round, you know, and you just, I think that's what helps build that community out there of being a more ideal place to be on a motorcycle, you know. And then of course mountains.
Well, yeah. Well, the motorcycling in California, like, you're not a side note. Yeah. Like, they actually like, okay, so you're in a motorcycle, you're in a vehicle that's capable of going in between cars safely if you choose to. And instead of it just being like, oh, you just kind of fall in line with all the cars. Well, we're not cars. You know, and a big part of the culture of Southern California and California in general is transportation. Like those cities were built on multiple lane highways from the very beginning, because they were like, we're going to have a shit ton of vehicles here, whether it be trucks, cars, motorcycles, whatever it is. And there's definitely that inclusion that you kind of feel there just by simply being able to split lanes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're starting to see it more and more, thankfully, but not every state will have watch for motorcycle LED signs on the side of the road. They're all over California. They're all over other places too, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a good feeling. You know, people aren't surprised to see motorcycles there. They're surprised when they don't.
Yeah, you would think that like some of the other states would, you know, look into the possibility, especially, you know, a state like Texas. Like, we have huge traffic problems, not nowhere near what California has, but, you know, just every one of our major cities is under some type of construction. You know what I mean? from Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. There's every major highway has construction going on somewhere, or just, you know, like Austin's overcrowded, you know, for the road system. So you would think, like, you know, it would be something of an option for Texas to look into this instead of, you know, what their option has been, or their solution has been to bring in more and more and more toll roads all over the fucking state. You know what I mean? It's been kind of a pain in the ass, but, you know, I don't know. It'd be nice if some other states would start looking into the lane splitting concept and bringing that aboard, or at least, you know, trying it or something, you know?
Yeah, I know that Australia actually has been reviewing it for the past few years. I don't think it's been voted in yet, but I think it's like something that's a regular conversation over there. Mm-hmm. And I also know that here in the States, Oregon actually has had a lot of these advertisements coming up, and they're putting information about lane splitting, and now it's supposed to be on one of the next bills to vote for. So it's starting to spread a little bit. I think it's crazy that California is still the only place where it's legal to lane split. I think it's nuts. It's so much better for overall traffic, and it's way better for the rider and the machine, because most motorcycles are gonna be air cooled. Yeah. So you're sitting there just pissing it off, you know, just splashing hot oil on hot parts, and then you have the legs, and your legs are going to burn up depending on what you're riding. I mean, you're sitting there choking on people's exhaust. You're just baking in the sun. You don't have any ventilation in your helmet working at the moment because you're not fucking moving. And suddenly wearing all of your gloves and your leather and your protective shit feels like a bad idea because you want to die. You're so fucking hot. And if all you could do is just ride 20 to 35 miles in between cars, miles an hour between cars, and all those things change. Yeah. Traffic instantly gets better. Your body instantly feels better. Your machine is happier. Like, all the things. It's a lot of logic, but everyone's in a competition. Yeah. I mean, people hate it when you get by them. Hate it. I've almost been hit several times. I mean, I'm sure that everyone that has ridden in Southern California has a million stories of how they almost got hit. And a lot of times it's by people that are just pissed off and they try to hit you. Yeah. Like, I actually took a dude's tooth out one time on accident. It's fucking hilarious. I'm splitting lanes through Hollywood. I'm on the bagger, too, so there's, like, no room. Traffic is at a standstill. And the slower the traffic it is, the harder it is to go fast when you lane split. Yeah. So you're typically lane splitting pretty slow at that time. Yeah, you're kind of walking. And I'm going through, and I'm not... Yeah, you just kind of... I mean, I was probably going maybe 10 miles an hour between cars. Yeah. Super slow. Basically just letting the clutch out and riding it. And this little truck was kind of slammed down, had no paint on it, and this dude just swerves at me. There's nowhere to go. Like, there's no room next to him to change lanes somehow. No one's moving. I'm the only thing fucking moving anywhere. Mm-hmm. He was just butthurt that I was moving and he wasn't. And so he tried to slam into me. I was able to move the bike out of the way. He did end up hitting my back guard. And I went to go hit his window. And I wasn't wearing gloves that day, but I've always got rings on. And I went to go hit his window, and I didn't know that he had it down. So I went to go punch him with my pinky ring. And then I was going to hit his window and at least make a big-ass noise. But what I ended up doing was taking out one of his front teeth. I felt my hand almost get cut. I was like, pow! Like, split them off and kept on riding. I was like, I've never been the tool of karma so quickly in my life. You try to hit me, motherfucker, I'll take your tooth.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing that people are... You know, they get mad about, you know, I can't remember if somebody on this podcast said it or if it was something that I heard through, you know, just random conversations. But, you know, it's like cars will laugh at you when you're, you know, riding down the road getting rained on, or when it's 120 degrees, or when it's 20 degrees. There's so many times when the car is in a better position than you are as a biker. But for some reason, if you're in traffic, because a lot of us here in Texas still lane split, you know, just cause, you know, fuck it. It's a fucking lane. You know what I mean? Right there. And, you know, you see people, some of them are chill and they'll let you by. And you got those people, those ones that just want to like cut the lane off or whatever the case may be. It's just ruining their day. It's ruining their life that you're getting a chance to advance and they're not. You know what I mean? And it's like the one thing.
And I've never understood it.
Yeah, it's the one time.
To what end? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you so mad? Exactly. When in your life changes because I happen to be able to slip through traffic?
Yes, yeah,
it's the same thing. Like, you know what happens when your feelings get hurt? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing happens when your feelings get hurt. So when somebody's sitting there crying and bitching about how hard their fucking life is, instead of talking about what they're going to do to fix it, you just tell them to shut the fuck up. No one cares. Like, Nothing happens to anything in this universe unless it's inside your head when your feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
So just stop. I mean, see the moment you're in and then move on. And it's just like lane splitting. Absolutely nothing. There's no butterfly effect of me lane splitting through Los Angeles at a decent speed. Like, chill out, man. Like, why are you so upset? Listen to the music on your radio. You know you have a car with air conditioning? That's kind of amazing. There are people that don't even have a car. So just chill. It's all good.
You're still in a better spot, yeah. But, you know, even if they did bring the lane splitting option here in Texas, and I'm sure other states, it would really ramp up the people that would start commuting on motorcycles, which would, you know,
absolutely,
initially let down the amount of traffic in everywhere. You know what I mean? I would think at least, you know, quite a bit.
Oh, there's so much research that's been done on it that backs that up. It's kind of undeniable. It really reminds me of, like, you know, the legalization of marijuana. Like, it's kind of one of the biggest no-brainers out there. No one ever goes out there and commits all the world's crimes because they got stoned. They're at Arby's.
Yeah.
Like,
get that big Montana.
Our biggest problem is, see, you know, and it's the same thing with lane splitting. Like, it would instantly help a lot of different things. It would. I know that it's a big part of why people ride motorcycles daily in California. I mean, you do too. It will take an extra 15 minutes when traffic sucks and I'm lane splitting. Mm-hmm. And if you're in a car, it could take you an extra 2 hours for the same piece of traffic. And all because I could just slide right through. So a lot of people are like, I bought this motorcycle because it's good for going in transit and commuting from work to home.
Well, see,
because
also
the whole reason they buy some of those bikes.
Also here in Texas, you know, we have no helmet law, or it's a very loose law. You know what I mean? Like, there's things you're supposed to have, but nobody really enforces it or whatever. But it just, I don't know. It's like I would trade to have a helmet law here for the lane splitting any day. You know what I mean? If that's one of the things.
It would be worth it. It would be worth it. And I think that would be a logical thing. Like, now you're going to let them go in between cars. You probably want to go ahead and make them put helmets on.
Yeah.
Like, I never really rode. Like, Colorado was a no helmet state. Mm-hmm. So whenever I was there riding, whenever I first started doing it daily, like, I just had, you know, shit ton of pomade and a bitch and pompadour. That's what I had. And then I moved to California where they make you wear a helmet. I was like, shit, now I'm going to buy a helmet.
Yeah.
And now I really don't like riding without one that much. I kind of prefer to ride with one.
Yeah, that's exactly how we are. I mean, once we started riding more aggressively on, like, Dyna's FXRs and now on these baggers, it's kind of like when you ride sport bikes back in the day. It just feels weird when you don't have a helmet on. So now, you know, it's like second nature. And I'm seeing a helmet culture, like, starting to take place within Harley that has never really been there. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing more and more people buying full face helmets, and they don't even ride like Dynas. Like, I've sold so many to, like, guys that ride Softails, like old school Softails, just full face helmets. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of, you know, things are kind of changing or evolving, I guess, in a sense, in that manner.
Yeah, I think part of that too is you have a lot better options with helmets currently than you ever did. Like, I've got a Bell Carbon that I wear all the time, and it vents so well. You can literally walk 30 feet briskly and feel the vents start to work. And to not have to fight the wind all the time and worry about a bug or a rock knocking you right in the face or the bridge of your nose, and just get to kind of actually enjoy it. It's a little bit quieter. You know, be in there, get a cool, like, Sena Bluetooth and slap it on there, and you can listen to your own music and ignore your friends at the same time. Yeah. And, like, there's a lot more options. The comfort is definitely there. The safety quality is also really hard to deny. And it's also another thing you can customize. You know, you know this extremely well, being a painter like you are. Like, there's so many different cool ways to paint a helmet, and that is definitely a big thing. People want that to be, like, whether it's not necessarily part of your signature, but definitely, like, another extension of you. I mean, that's why we customize our motorcycles, because we want it to be the way we want it. Like, that's specifically mine because I built it for me and the things that I like. And same thing goes with the helmet. Like, none of us really want to look like everybody else.
Exactly.
Like, you'd like to have a look. we're already wearing a bunch of black T-shirts, trying to break it up a little bit.
Have a little bit of individuality. But yeah, that's a good thing. Why like companies like Bell with their Star Series, and I think was it the Enforcer that just recently came out or something like that?
Yeah, I haven't worn that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
And you know, same thing with Simpson. It's like these helmets aren't like over styled with like graphics from the factory, so it kind of leaves it open to interpretation for the end user of how they want to set it up and dial it in and customize it and things like that. So I think that actually is one thing about the Harley helmet game as opposed to the sport bike helmet game, where there's actually like I make a living off of painting helmets, you know what I mean, in some aspects. So it's definitely something that's cool, and I like seeing it grow and become something that people are looking for, like, you know what I mean, like something cool on their head.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, it's just, everything's better. Like, if I have a wallet, I'd like to have it made by someone I respect, not by someone I've never seen. And I think that a lot of our culture, like in the custom performance motorcycle world, whether it be choppers or whatever you're into, it's all the kind of same stuff. We really appreciate the time and the effort and the actual artistry that goes into it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, it's always about that regular expression, and it's a very big part of our world, even with, you know, whatever your paint job looks like or who made your seat. Mm-hmm. And that part of the culture doesn't really translate very much over to the sport bike world. I used to have a Gixxer 750. It was the first bike I really ever kind of had. I shared it with a different dude in the Navy on a different boat. So whoever was in port got to ride the bike. And cool. Yeah, I mean, and it was a rad bike, but it is totally different. You know, they're totally down to have decals. Yeah. And what you'd rather have, like, typically, like in, you know, V-twin style stuff, is you want to have somebody pinstriping or doing a full paint job on it. And so they still like their own kind of custom, but one's much more personal. And it would be interesting to see how that could change over time. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Like, that's some things I noticed about the industry and stuff that were kind of like becoming an evolution, I guess you'd say. But so with all the stuff you got going on, like, you know, you were talking about the Four Corners Rally. Last year was the first year of that, right?
Yeah, I believe last year was the first year of it, and it's up there in Durango, Colorado.
Yeah, I know a lot of people went to that one. So
yeah, I'm stoked. Like, the whole idea is this event is going to be something that does nothing but grow over the next 20 and 30 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, the man behind the myth is, like, very, very driven. He's very focused. You know, he's in, it's my buddy John Oates, who's really organizing a lot of this with his team. And, like, he's from Missouri, been riding motorcycles forever. He's been around the motorcycle scene for a long time now. We worked together on other motorcycle events, and he's a super pro, and he really is excited about what this event can do. And eventually he wants it to pretty much swallow up his entire life. To now all he does is throw bitchin' motorcycle parties, which sounds like a good time to me. So, I mean, I'm stoked because a lot of times I'm a poodle, basically, right? So it's like, say this, say that, bark, sit, stay, roll over. Doing events like Four Corners, it's built back on what started motorcycle rallies, which is racing. And so it's a lot more like the style announcing I'll get to do is less, hi, well, welcome to this event, and we've got this going on over here, and that's happening at 5 o'clock, and then right afterwards, we're going to have blah, blah, blah. Don't forget to eat while you're here. We've got plenty of food. Like, I mean, yeah. That's great, but it's way more fun to talk about your friends that are riding motorcycles like idiots on a microphone and just have a great time doing it, really getting the crowd, giving the crowd something to be excited about, like, just naturally. Like, who doesn't get excited about racing? Dead people. I mean, other than that, like, you get excited about it. The shit's fun. Yeah. And get to do hill climbs and the stunt shows. And it's got a lot of opportunity to make it not feel like a job. Just going to do the things I just truly enjoy doing. And that's what I've missed. And I'm really stoked. And, like, these days, I'm not really focusing on being an MC as much. Mm-hmm. Most of what I'm focused on is just doing my thing. And I'll still be emceeing events. I'll still get to go to events. But I'm trying to kind of change my lifestyle a little bit. And it's funny because I tried to slow down, and I'm busier this year than I was last year.
Yeah, that's I know exactly what you mean. But, you know, as far as that Durango rally, like, where are they kind of based? Where's the hub of it? Is it at the Durango Harley, or is there like a little outskirts area that they're kind of like setting it up? Or, I mean, how does it work? It's a pretty small town, so.
I know last year Yeah, it's a very small town, and then so like whenever you start doing some of the rides that are around there, you're pretty much instantly on that ride. It's like easy town. It's pretty rad. You got like the $1 Million Highway up there. It's beautiful. I think the epicenter of it is really supposed to be the Durango Harley Davidson dealership. I know there's some adjustments and some expansions that are being made, so I think like the playing field's about to get a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of exciting things that are in the plans. So I don't know all the details as of yet. We just got it figured out about a week ago. Yeah. So I'm in the learning process as we speak. I just made the announcement today. Actually.
Yeah, today. Yeah. Well, we every time we do the California ride, we always stop through there, either coming or going at some point. And the town's really cool, man. Like that little downtown area's got some cool little bars and restaurants to eat at and stuff like that. And then like you just said, it's like right in between a lot of really badass riding. So you go north, you hit the $1 Million Highway. You go west, and then you're cutting into Utah right there, and you can go and you start seeing all those epic rides there. I mean, Monument Valley is one of my most favorite places ever to ride through, and it's like about 100 miles away, I think. So pretty dope spots.
The Monument Valley, man, I ride so slow through there.
Yeah,
because it's a long stretch, and like for people that don't know, get on your Google machine and look up Monument Valley. But I mean, like what it is these big, huge formations of like sand and rock that are just massive to the point to where they look like they were intentional monuments. Mm-hmm. That's how it gets its name. So like on both sides, you've got these beautiful towers of colors that are stacked upon each other. And if you have not ever done that near sunset, then man, do yourself. The colors are dim. You'll be a hippie on accident. You'll be like, bro, dude, the colors, man. You can like feel the color. You can though, like you can almost taste, touch, and smell them. I mean, it's a really cool, vibrant place, and it's just like nothing but kind of big, huge, wide turns that go right and left, like nothing hard. I go probably like 50 miles an hour through there just so I can enjoy it longer.
Yeah, it's a weird place, man. I mean, the first time I rode through it, it was just, like I've said it, I've talked about it on this podcast so much, but like, Forrest Gump was like one of my favorite movies growing up, and I always tell people, so yeah, this is where he stopped and turned around and went home after he was running across country forever. You know what I mean? And so it was like being there was kind of cool, just soaking it in. And then the third time I went there, we actually camped at they have a campsite kind of on the backside on the Arizona side of the monuments there, and that place was badass as hell too. So yeah, it's a place that I love going through. It's hard to sell it to people all the time because it really is just a long straight road that kind of like has this weird vibe that it gives you while you're riding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely feel like you're in a special place. There's energy to it. Like you'll find yourself staring at these monuments as you ride by, and your mind's totally drifting. Like there's a comfort to it, but there's also an ancient quality to it. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know. It's a special place, and there's so much of that out there. Like even on your way to Durango, like no matter where you're coming from, there's so many great rides that are just getting to or coming from the event. Much less the ones that'll be organized that we'll do during the days while we're there. There's a lot of opportunity for like a true motorcycle experience. Like one of the things that's most attractive about Sturgis is not the party, it's the riding. Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many things to check out there, and that's another one of those places where you can always go somewhere and discover.
Yeah, you also got Moab not too far away, and then Shiprock down south. I love Moab. They're really like. Jeff Holt, when I talked to him at Hot Bike Tour in 17, he was talking about they were going to do the Hot Bike Tour then. The 18 was going to be around there, the Four Corners area. And I was like, man, that's an awesome place to do it. You know what I mean? It's not on any major highways. Like if you're going east or west, like it's not on 40 or 10 or anything like that. Like it's hundreds of miles north, and you know what I mean? So it's not like something that people just jump off the highway to check out real quick and then jump back on the highway. So I think it gets less traveled through that area than like say people that will jump up and go see the Meteor Crater off of 40 or maybe even run up the 60 miles up to go see the Grand Canyon or something like that. So yeah, you got to earn this one.
I'm stoked. Yeah, you do. You really do. You have to want to get there, and I think that'll automatically start to grow a crowd that will get along that much better, because everyone had to get there. Like, sure, bring your trailer if you want to, or you can ride your fucking motorcycle.
Yeah, hell, you can even like head back a little east and hit Taos, New Mexico, Red River, all those badass places over there too. I mean, you're right there around. You're less than 100 miles away from a lot of really badass riding. Day riding kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like getting one under my belt so I can kind of start to plan what the next few years are going to be like, because like Sturgis, I don't think you'll be able to do all the rides in like one go. Exactly. Which makes it even more fun. So it's like, because you always want that new quality to something you do on the regular. Mm-hmm. That way you want to keep doing it.
I also think what's really going to help that rally grow or become something big too is the way the town or the community that lives there, how they react and how they receive it and how they handle it. That's one thing. Like last year was my first time going to Daytona, and I just, I had been to Sturgis, 4 times prior to that. And I felt like Daytona was just like we were in their way, like, oh, I'm sorry that we came here to spend money and have a good time, and sorry that we're
like, oh, the bikers are back.
Yeah. When you go to Sturgis, you just feel welcome. You feel welcome when you're riding in Colorado on the way to Sturgis, and there's signs for Sturgis, on 25.
Yeah.
Like you're like, fuck yeah, man. This is
like bikers welcome signs like all over the place. Yeah. They actually mean it.
Yeah. So it's like a different vibe, and I feel like that's the kind of vibe you need from a town to do a rally in or event in, for it to like really grow and have a stronghold. Like we had the Rot Rally down in Austin, and I think the only thing that really helps that out is the fact that the main rally is on a campground kind of outside the town. But there's just so many badass towns like within 100 miles from there. They could easily be another small Sturgis and get out of Austin, which is overcrowded as it is. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Some changes got to be made in some of these places. Crazy. Yeah, it is. It's a good time. I think that
that Rot Rally's nuts at nighttime. It's that loop everybody does in their golf carts and
the nude mile or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. I liked it. I haven't been in probably like 6-8 years.
It's a shit show.
It is a definite shit show. Actually, I got in a shouting match while I was on the back of somebody's golf cart with this guy that, I don't know how he didn't drop his motorcycle. He's drunker than a 3-toed goat. This guy couldn't do shit right on his bike, but it just wouldn't go down. It's like you'd see him almost high side, and then somehow his drunk ass would wobble out of it, and like here he is back again, almost running into another golf cart, and like almost dropped it. Like you didn't break your feet. You're one of those assholes that gets away with everything. That's what he is. But that party's crazy. But I mean, it's being out there in Four Corners. I think it's going to be fucking rad. I know the riding's going to be awesome. I know the party's going to be awesome. Having the racing quality being such an activity to the forefront, I think that's going to help a whole lot of things too. And yeah, I'm excited. I get to do. I don't know. I've already had a pretty fun year. I got to do the one, and Mama tried, and getting ready to go to Tempe, Arizona, April 7th, like basically at the very end of Arizona Bike Week. On the Throttle Addiction is hosting their swap meet that they do. And it's pretty much like the last one that's on their current schedule, and they got like a big ass party at the end of it. So I'm going to go down there and see if I can't help everybody in Arizona get a little bit weird. That's
cool. Yeah, Arizona's another bike rally we used to go to a lot that I feel like the town is too big for that event. You know what I mean? Like the Arizona Bike Week's kind of like broken up into like 3 sections, I guess you'd say. You got the West World, the Cave Creek, and then something on the west side of town. It's just a, like I said, it ain't like Sturgis, I guess. But no, that's actually pretty cool.
Sturgis is such a unique place. It is such a unique place. I mean, it's a town of just over 7,000 people. It turns into a city of over 750,000 bikers in 48 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Have you done like Laughlin and stuff like that?
I have done Laughlin. Laughlin was a fun time, actually. I had a really good time at it. I'm not usually the biggest fan of like parking lot rallies. Yeah. So like when you like do stuff like Vegas and Laughlin, but I honestly think it depends on who you roll with. Yeah. And no matter where you go or what kind of venue it is, because some people don't like to rough it so hard. Some people prefer, being like in the casino environment and whatnot. And it is fun. They're both super fun. Yeah. But no matter which one you go to, as long as you're like rolling strong, then it's always good money.
Yeah. The people make it all right.
They do, man. It's so fun. so fun. The people are the only reason why I keep doing it. I mean, that's it. Like, I've been to Born Free, like, I don't know how many millions of times. And whenever I go there, I don't even really look at the motorcycles too terribly much, to be quite honest with you. There's people from everywhere that I don't get to see that I'm, like, in love with. I'm like, oh, I spend my whole day just hugging and howling at the moon and then, you know, have some pizza toppings around the campfire at night and do it all over again.
Have you had a chance to go to Giddy Up yet?
No, I haven't done the Giddy. I don't go to Texas too terribly much. I usually end up going through Texas to get to somewhere else for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I haven't done Giddy Up yet, and I haven't done the Hand-Built show yet either.
Yeah, Hand-Built's pretty small, but it's still, you know, you can nerd out pretty good on some of those bikes there. You know what I mean? But Giddy Up, man, that's just, I don't know. People are tired of hearing me talk about it for sure, but it's just one of those shows. It's I don't even know if it's a show, man. It's just a vibe. It's the first thing of the year for like a lot of us down here that's like getting out camping and riding and, you know, kind of getting into the we can ride full year here in Texas, but it's really just that first event that we all do here that we get so excited for, you know, and kind of like you just said, like when you get
even if you can ride year round, there's always a kickoff.
Yeah, and that's kind of the kickoff for us here as a local show. And then, you know, it's just guns blazing for, you know, till pretty much December, you know, with events everywhere.
I mean, almost literally. I mean, you're in Texas. It will be guns blazing. I mean, that's like y'all style and shit, right?
Yeah.
Everybody walks around with a gun in Texas.
Man.
Actually, I lived in Texas for a good while. I lived in the Houston area going through some of my grade school, like 4th grade through sophomore year of high school.
So you got you a little trill in you or something like that? What do they call it? What year was that? Like back in the screwed and chopped days or some shit?
I have no idea what days those were. That was probably probably like 88.
Oh, okay.
So like 96.
Yeah, so you was in like the Ghetto Boys and all that type of stuff. The old rap groups.
I wasn't allowed to listen. I wasn't allowed to listen to any of that music. I was brought up a very good, clean cut, Pentecostal, super conservative, sweet, obedient little boy. And
and now you run around half naked.
Now, I mean, I'm still a preacher. I just talk about, you know, having a good time and making bad decisions and being sweet to each other in weird ways instead of the other message. Which I guess is still kind of similar.
So what's the... I noticed you do a lot of videos and you do a lot of like, you know, I guess you kind of work with a lot of companies like Russ Brown and, you know, of course the Jack Daniels stuff. And so would you consider yourself kind of like an influencer into the motorcycle scene, or how would you kind of look at that?
Least favorite word.
I know.
I think that the way that I influence the motorcycle community has less to do with my online presence, even though it does do pretty okay.
Yeah.
And it has more to do with like what happens when I'm in the room. Mm-hmm. What happens in the room has given me opportunity to really get super deep into the industry side of things and to be in a room that I never would have been invited to otherwise.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel like there's a responsibility for me to both of them. With the videos and stuff that I do, I'm actually about to start doing a lot more.
Yeah.
I enjoy, and it's not to influence really, like it's the type of work I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing like, you know, gear reviews and things of that nature. Like I just got a massive box from Icon Motorsports. I'm going to test a bunch of their gear, and it's like very atypical stuff for me to wear. But it's also like they make some nice stuff, and I'm looking to see like what it can endure. Because that's really what I do, is beat the crap out of everything. And I got some things that are from Roland Sands too that I'll be doing gear reviews on, and it'll be just in my way, you know. I'll be super honest and probably a little funny, but putting some stuff together for that. And I don't know, I feel like the online presence thing is an opportunity to reach more people with a solid message.
For sure.
And, you know, of course, that also includes fun. And I try to take advantage of that. I really do. There's a lot of times where I get lifted up through some of the stuff that other people share with me about how they felt about something I posted. Mm-hmm. And because I do it on purpose. I don't do it just to go something flighty out there. I mean, like my inspirational messages are like, shirts for work, drop your top and give somebody something to smile about. Like that's my inspirational message.
Yeah, I seen that.
But I mean, but for real, like, I mean, that's like, go find a reason to smile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're having a bad day, well, then change it. Like, most of it's a frame of mind. Some things must be endured.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it is a frame of mind. Like, as a person who deals with a lot of brain stuff, like, I just have to make a decision. And you go for a walk for 30 or 45 minutes, and then by the time I get back, if I've still made my decision to change my day has now been changed.
Yeah.
And to be able to, I don't know, be honest about my experience with PTSD and anxiety and depression sometimes, like, it helps other folks, and it helps me to know that someone gets help.
Yeah.
You know, because if one person gains any kind of wisdom or peace or chuckles at anything that I post, that's all a positive influence. And I want to spend the rest of my life doing nothing but being a positive influence. When people say my name, DumpTruck, when I walk into the room, I want people to smile.
Yeah.
Like, that, and that's not because I want their approval. I want to be the kind of person that puts off a positive vibe to where you feel safe and you feel free, mm-hmm. and you feel maybe a little bit happier than you were a moment before. And I don't know. I'm just going to be jolly for the rest of my life.
That's cool. Well, yeah, I guess using the word influencer probably wasn't the best accurate way, because it's more.
It is the accurate way, though. It's just that I just don't like the title, but I mean that is what kind of the job has turned into. Yeah. Because of some of the partnerships I've been really blessed to accept from folks like Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys, who have supported me for a good while now, and they've been. I mean, they took care of me and my motorcycle accident. Yeah. I mean, it's not just because every once in a while they'll post a photo or a video and put their name on it. I mean, like, you know, we have a relationship. When I was going through some real shit, like, they did everything they could in their power to get every single thing that was coming to me, and they did. I was very grateful for it.
That's cool.
So it's kind of interesting how that turned into a partnership, you know, and yeah, like, I mean, and I enjoy it, you know. There's a responsibility to it. Like, if you're actually going to be an influencer, like someone who is an influence, not necessarily influencer by title, mm-hmm. but if you're going to do that, then you need to do real shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a responsibility to it. Like, there's, right now, like, the newest age of motorcycle riders out there is wildly different than what it was even when I just started to do daily riding in 2008. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a totally different crop of human beings. And that is, in itself, a responsibility to some of these older people who have been around, not to be snobs about it, but to maybe show them the right way of doing it. Like, if you work on acceptance and including people rather than shutting them out, you probably have an opportunity to make sure that the motorcycle community that you're a part of stays as legit as you would like it to be.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you have to include people to do that. And that's the responsibility of an influencer. Whether you are like myself and a lot of the stuff is like road trip shit, camping, this and that and the other, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm at. All I'm trying to do is inspire you to get off your ass and go do the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would really like to inspire you to do that. So I'm going to keep sharing it with you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't share. And there's other people out there, influencers that are super hot moto babes, and they post their photos and whatnot. And that, you know, gets other people excited about riding and whatnot. So, like, make sure that whatever you put your message out there to be is going to be a message that's true, and make it more about that than it is what you're posting.
Yeah, finding a way to be honest, I guess. And that, I guess, you know, I've been wanting to talk to somebody, and I wasn't necessarily planning on talking to you about it, but I guess since you do play that role, you could help me understand a lot of it. Is that I feel like, you know, over the last couple of years with, you know, the Instagram and Facebooks and YouTube's becoming such a big platform for obviously, you know, sharing all this stuff. I mean, it's how I know about you, you know what I mean? And when you see these, I guess, you know, I don't want to say it in a negative way, because it's really not negative. I just want to understand it or try to, you know, find out more about it. But it's like, I see so many people trying to do moto vlogging now, and I see so many people doing the, you know, quote unquote influencer role. And I think that no one's really, anybody can be that. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. Anybody could take on this role and be that. But I think you said it best a while ago when you said you actually have to do something, you know, like you have to, like, you can't just, you know, sit there and ask for free shit, you know, which is what I get hit up for a lot. And then you don't really provide any kind of content or any kind of insight into what you're trying to influence your audience over, I guess. So I don't know. I'm a little lost.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth in the industry with that whole movement of influencers and doing work for trade and whatnot. So it's like, I would say that the people that I get to hang out with that are the similar capacity, like every single one of them put work in. Like they do work. They'll take the photography, do the post, and whatever else has been agreed upon, like, because they're professional people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other people that are like, I've got like all these likes, bro. So if you could like give me a helmet, that'd be tight. And that's it. Like that's like the end of the conversation. And it fucks everyone. It makes it to where those folks that are responsible for, creating marketing campaigns around those products are no longer getting the return on their investment. So now that product gets harder to get for other people who actually want to put the work in. And now he's got this ungrateful fucking snot-nosed kid that's good at, somebody else is good at a camera and he's good at the internet, so now he's an influencer. Eat dicks. Fuck you. What have you done? Where have you been? Like, what do you really understand about the motorcycling life? Like, is it anything? I hope it is. Otherwise, you're not going to be standing there very long, because the motorcycle industry will not hang on to shows a long-term commitment to being non-legit. Like the people that are around for a long time are the ones that really do it, and they do it day in, day out, and they prove themselves not as an attempt to prove themselves, but just by being themselves in nature. Like, they ride, they produce, they commit, they're at the things, they're doing the stuff. They're trying to actually make a positive influence on their community around them, whether they're, very involved in charity work, whether they're involved in like the American Motorcycle Association, or whether they are, creating a video production that's entertaining that has something to do with motorcycles. Like, they're all adding to it. Yeah. And some of those people are folks that are married that I would consider to be actual bikers. And some of those folks are just putting stuff out there and they won't be around very long. Yeah. It takes commitment.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at. You said it way better than I did. Is basically that, with so many people, like, they do a wheelie or they do, they get their, whatever the case may be, whatever gives them the inclination that they could be somebody big on social media when it comes to marketing motorcycle lifestyles and products and stuff. But then, like you said it best, like when all these dudes start hitting up all these companies, it's hard for like other guys, like maybe yourself or, people that actually have real content to come and actually get, anything out of it. You know what I mean? So I guess, I don't know. It's just, you don't want to be the negative guy and be like, oh, you kids need to, go ride bikes for a couple of years and be some rookies and be some squids. And then, after you put in some years and understand this culture.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I mean, like, why not tell them to go have your rookie year and celebrate those rookie years? Stop telling me about shit you don't know. Yeah. Like, go do something. I mean, I am a very sensitive and empathetic human being, but, myself and others like me have to go through more and less to get to where it is we're trying to be. And I think all we're trying to do is something good around something we love. And that's it. And there's a lot of other people that just come in for the selfishness quality of it all. They do it for the popularity, and it's like, well, that's boring of you. How about you actually go do something and show me something that's outside of your fucking city limits? In one of your Instagram posts. I know you'll ride fucking nowhere because you see the same goddamn streets and the same buildings in the background. I don't give a shit how pretty your face is. Well, I think show me something. Do something.
I think it's also a good thing to say, like, find somebody that, like, if you're new into bikes, like, go associate yourself with people that you feel like are badass people that are doing cool shit, and then learn from that group or that crowd or that person, and then you'll naturally grow into your own identity as a motorcyclist, you know what I mean? And you'll be able to, at some point, basically you need to learn how to follow certain people or be a part of things that are already taking place, and then as you grow into it, create your own stuff. You know what I mean?
You have to learn how to listen. Yeah. You have to learn when to shut up. Like, that's one of the big things. This doesn't mean like a long term. I've got a friend of mine, Kaylin Thorin. Like, she hasn't been riding motorcycles a super, super long time. She's been a lifelong adventurer. Yeah. And that's why it makes sense when she shows up and suddenly it's a big splash. Because she is a good human being. Because she does have a lust for life and the need to explore new things that require you to live on a slight edge. Like, the motorcycle scene has definitely embraced her, and she is embracing it back. And she's like one of the only I would consider like noobs on the motorcycle scene to also be legit as fuck. But she also has a very unique path, and there's other people like myself. I just kind of ended up getting into it, and it embraced me, and I started embracing it back. And so it started as a job for me, and then turned into something way, way more. And now it's a love life.
Yeah,
and,
but you also spent how many years ripping across country back and forth? Like, you have so much experience under your belt that, like, you know, sitting at a table at a bike night with you, you know, I as if I didn't have done it myself, I would be able to learn so much, and I know I still could now, even having a talk with you. So you've earned the right, or you've you know, more or less done the work to be able to sit there and say, okay, well, you know, I have an opinion now. I've earned the right to have it. You know what I mean?
Right, but according to who? You know, so I mean, and this is an internal conversation that I do have a lot, because I try to make sure in every day that I'm not being a dick. I'm being a positive human being. Rufio's calling me right now. Let me hang him up. Send the voicemail. Love you, Rufio. But where the hell was I?
Is it Rufio Wonders?
Yeah,
dude, I met him. I met him when he was on his road. He was on his road trip last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So me and my wife was in NorCal. We were stopping through slab sides right there in San Jose, and he had a flat tire, and he was getting his front tire fixed, and that they were going from him and his chick were going all the way across country and back. They were gone for a long time, and I started following them while I was there.
They were gone for a long time.
Yeah, that dude's cool. He's legit.
And they still love each other, so I guess
it worked out.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I have this internal conversation, and I've actually thought about it a lot as of recent, especially as someone who is still young. Like, there are people that have been around the motorcycle world twice as long or even longer than I've been riding. Like, so I wouldn't consider myself one of the OGs, to be very, very clear about that.
Yeah.
I think I have the spirit of a lot of the OGs because they're the ones that taught me a lot of things. And I think about it a lot of, like, what makes my experience and the work that I had to do to find my place in this whole motorcycle world greater than someone else's just because it's different. Like, there are people that have a much different and you know, maybe more simplified lifestyle that I've had in the last 10 years, but still have a really big motorcycle experience.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they may not even ride the same type of bike, because a lot of the things that you learn on the road, you can also learn in the dirt. I mean, you really can, especially if you're adventuring. Granted, like, most of my miles are distance. Like, that is a very different style of riding. It's a very different mindset. It's a very different community. And it will change your life if you've never ridden distance. I'll tell you right now, leave everybody behind. Just pick a direction and go. And just go. And that's it. Stop whenever you figured out that it's going to take you about the same amount of time to go home. Take 2.5 days, go that way. Take 2.5 days, go back. Leave the highway alone. Like, go do some stuff by yourself. Like, just get in there. It will change you. And if you get to do any kind of extended rides, which you can do, you just have to do it. You have to make the choice to do it. Then you'll understand about a lot of the things that make you someone that you might call like an actual biker. It's not about how tough you are. It's not about the fact that you can or can't build a motorcycle. It's just simply about the daily life of it all. It's just a descriptor of a person that lives this every single day. And when you live that every single day, it really is a true experience. It is something that can change you and help you grow and help you find excitement, help you find love for a lot of different things and a lot of different people. And there's a magic to it you don't get just from buying a motorcycle and a good camera. And I feel like, yes, definitely, I've had that magical experience, and so have other people that have done it differently. And you know, you just gotta grab it and go.
Yeah, you know, there is that wonder. It's like, you know, social media has definitely probably showed the Harley world and the lifestyle and all that to a lot of people that probably were not interested into it or in it at all until they started seeing it online. And now there's a lot of people into, you know, these bikes, which I think that's a positive thing. Like, that's super cool. You know what I mean? But then, like I said, you get a lot of these guys that I don't know if you get a lot of them. I feel like I see a lot of people that you know, they're not really trying to do anything, but unless there's like, hey man, we're doing this ride and it's gonna be, you know, Instagram, we're all tagging each other, we're all bringing cameras, we're all, you know what I mean? Like if it's like almost like some people aren't gonna get out and experience the trip unless there's like some kind of social media advantage for them in some aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's called work. That's called work. That is not going out to ride your motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's you working and you happen to be riding motorcycles. I mean, I know it because I did that for years, going from one point to the next point, one point to the next point. I've taken one trip for myself in my entire life. Every other motorcycle trip I have ever been on has been to go get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Every single one. And like El Diablo Run 2013 was the last time and the only time I've ever ridden for myself. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I'm going again this year, and we're going to get weird. It's going to be great. And I'm also doing the same thing. I mean, I'm leaving all my cameras because I always travel with, you know, helmet cameras and still cameras and, you know, editing stuff. And sometimes I'll bring a special microphone or something. Like, I've always got some kind of gear that's with me. And that's just not what that trip is about for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there and I'm going to take 4 selfies and drink 2,000 margaritas in the between. You know, like, I don't give a shit about who sees what I'm doing in Mexico. If you ain't here, you ain't supposed to be looking.
That's kind of what happened on that trip I just took to Cali. Like I was trying to multitask on that trip as far as going to paint a bike, going to do podcasts, and then I bought the new GoPro 7, and I wanted to just try to get some cool little video footage and kind of practice it. And I got some stuff, but you know, there's certain aspects or certain areas where when I stopped, I was like, man, like I'm really just enjoying this right now the way it is. Like I don't know if I want to pull a camera out or if I want to try to act or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? I kind of just want to sit here, or I just want to ride through this and watch that.
The fact that you have that conversation with yourself, that exact conversation with yourself, means that you're safe.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times to where whether I'm doing some videography for myself or for a client or a brand, or if I'm just riding, that I forget the difference between the two. And now every single time I stop, I've got to grab my camera.
Yeah.
And every single time I got to do this, I got to stop and do that. When sometimes you just want to be present enough to know when the time is to be a pro and when the time is to be a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
And taking those selfish moments is what makes it worth it. And I'm relearning how to do that.
Yeah.
So if you continue to hang on to that, then you will completely continue to enjoy riding way too far, way too often, way too fast for a whole lot longer.
I hope so. I mean, I think I have a pretty cool life, you know what I mean, as far as being in the motorcycle industry.
I'd say so. I would say so. I think you're pretty damn cool. We haven't even had beer together yet.
And, you know, so there's this part of me that wants to give people that might be interested a glimpse of it or a taste of it or a feel of it, you know what I mean, in a way that might be inspiring. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. There's some times there I just, you know, I can see the idea in my head if it's a video or a shot or something, but learning how much production goes into pulling off these ideas I got is what's been like an eye opener for me. You know what I mean? Like I had all these great ideas for this trip, and then, you know, realizing how long it takes to pull off shots, you know, and get the angles and get the, you know, how long you'll spend in one spot, so you're not making a progress. So when I left Dallas, I rode from Dallas to Phoenix the first day, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna do some video on the way. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna stop at a gas station for 20 minutes and get a monster, and I'm back on the road because I'm trying to make 1,100 miles today. You know what I mean? So it's just, there's a lot of things that like it put a lot of stuff in perspective, but also being alone on the road for that, you know, for damn near for a full day for the most part was just a great way to kind of, you know, control alt delete, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's an excellent decompression. Like that throttle therapy, people talk about it all the time and always will. And it's not just because it's goofy and fun to say, but you don't see motorcycles outside therapist's office.
Yeah.
Like I don't get off my motorcycle and I'm pissed off at the world. I get off my motorcycle and I'm pretty chill, man. Like,
yeah, more
I've been
optimistic.
by myself all day. I've been a part of my environment. I've been rocking this, you know, Milwaukee vibrator, having a great time on motorcycle, just being free as hell, getting as close to flying as I ever can on anything that's touching the ground still.
Yeah.
And it's just solid. Like those are some of the best days. Those are some of the absolute best days when you don't even have that much, like going through Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Montana got no oncoming traffic. If you get on a 2-lane out in Montana, you can go hours without seeing anyone coming the opposite direction.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. You want to talk about feeling like alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and it's also where they don't really have a whole lot of speed limits. So you can go like 110 miles an hour without wondering if somebody's looking. You can just keep on going like it's not a big deal. It's fun.
I haven't got a chance to ride that far northwest. The farthest northwest I've ridden so far is just like those little Wyoming areas right around where Sturgis is, and northern Colorado and stuff. So, but no, I want to do that.
Have
man.
you ever been through 10 Sleep, Wyoming?
I might. Where's that by?
It's nothing.
Okay. I've been to Laramie.
It's like East Wyoming, if I remember right. I'd have to look at the map to not be wrong. But there's it's a one bar, one gas station / little like grocery store town. Like there's nothing there. They brag about they're the most lawless town in Wyoming because they don't have police or a sheriff. They have a sheriff that drives by at 6 o'clock at night. And the woman Helen that owns that restaurant is amazing, and they've got some pretty good food that's there. Like, it's a nothing town.
What'd you call it? What was the town called?
10 Sleep, like the number 10.
I'm looking at a map.
Oh, I've got one of their. I got a sticker on one of my helmets right here. I forgot this. They have these stickers. It's just simple black and white. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. But it says TITS, TITS. This is 10 Sleep, 10 Sleep Saloon, Wyoming.
Man, you know what?
And it was like.
Go ahead.
Oh no! My favorite part is Helen's idea. She's like, I think that's just great. Everybody likes tits, so this is 10 Sleep. I was like, well, you're a very wise woman.
Yeah, that's kind of more in the middle of the country. It's right around Bighorn National Forest and all that stuff.
That's right. It is right by the National Forest. You're right.
Yeah. So I haven't been that far inland in Wyoming yet. But same thing, man. The times I've gotten to ride in Wyoming, they're like, it's the perfect balance of like rolling plains and cliffs and mountains and all that good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Wyoming. Some of my favorite sunsets have been in that state. That's a really good spot to ride through.
Yeah.
Really good spot to ride through. Oh man, I'm so ready. I got a little bit of work to do to my FXR, and I'm gonna start riding every day again. I'm stoked.
What do you got to do to it now?
I've got to replace the rings on it. She smokes just a little bit whenever she starts up. And I know I'm gonna ride down to Mexico and back, so I'm like, all right, let me check out the top end, see what it looks like.
How is that ride?
Just
that EDR run.
What?
How
El Diablo run?
Yeah,
it's awesome. Like, I mean, it's about the party.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a long ride. And this year, I guess there's not like a big major meetup spot because in the past, like everyone's met up in Temecula and stayed at like the Best Western there, and there's like parking lot parties that go down. Everybody gets their tattoo before the event, or most people get it before the event, and you get like your last like what everyone likes to call your last civilized meal, and then everyone wakes up, kickstands up 7 o'clock, and you run. But this year, I guess everyone's just meeting up there whenever they get there. And it's not far. It's in San Felipe, and it used to be San Felipe and Ensenada on the Pacific Coast.
Yeah,
but now they just stay in San Felipe the whole time, really. And it's good, man. Like here's the thing: I feel like folks in recent past weren't prepared for is the fact that yes, you saw all these great and fun photos from EDR like in 2015 and 2013 that looked like just a great time with a bunch of motorcycle people in Mexico, drinking in the water. All those things are true. There's also a whole bunch of inappropriate fucking weird shit that happens there. And there's from what I understood from quite a few different people, that there was a bunch that went this last time and were very disappointed in some folks and the way that they were acting and operating and the recreational activities they decided to be a part of. And like they kind of got butthurt about the whole thing. I'm like, well, the hell did you expect? You came to a party that's still supposed to still be like a real, like a chopper party. It's very much a chopper thing. All bikes ride there, but it's very much a chopper thing, and it's very much not necessarily like a gnarly chopper thing, but a very free Charlie, which is choppers. Like, it's all about love free, live free, be free, go in the beautiful places of the country, build what you want, like ride what you want, how you want, where you want, and it's all about do what you wanna, and that's very, very literal, and which is one of the reasons why I love that party, because you can just have a straight up gnarly ass hardcore fucking chopper party, drinking, bad decision making time in Mexico, and come back and it's like nothing ever happened.
So they would come down to Ensenada and then they'd ride over to San Felipe, or is that what they would do?
San Felipe first, and then Ensenada, then back up
like a big route. Okay, so y'all would go through like a. Okay, I'm looking at the map, so I would see how y'all would kind of run that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'd run across like some of the Baja.
When I was coming back from Cali, when I was like right when I got to like Indo or whatever it was, I really wanted to like drop down and go through Slab City and see Glamis and all that shit, but I just couldn't justify it, on the trip, But I've always wanted to stop through there.
There will come this. Excuse me, died. A shot of bourbon was real. It's party time. There is. I forgot what I was gonna say. I just almost died. I choked myself out. When I was going there, I saw these places, and I've seen them on TVs and movies, and then things like that. I was like, man, it'd be cool to check it out. And it's just always, my wife has family in LA, so when we come there, we stay with them. I'm seeing her dad and seeing a lot of friends, staying with her aunt. And then, to drop down to, to San Diego or something, it's just so out of the way, and I don't really know anybody down there. You know what I mean? So. Well, whenever you want to go, let me know, and I'll connect you with some really, really great, fun-loving motorcycle people that are down there.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, know how to have a good time. And it's not far. It's not out of the way. It's 2 hours down the street.
You ever, on your trips, going across country and, you do it a couple times or same highways or whatever, do you ever, have connections with gas stations that you've stopped at on the way? There and back and stuff?
I have. I definitely have. In Colorado, I did a lot, but that was mostly I was riding through Colorado a lot early on. It was just and the Denver kind of ended up being a good place to stop for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And I lived there for 6 years prior. And I also drove a truck for Budweiser in the mountains. So I knew all these little gas stations and liquor stores in the middle of absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the places where I got to continue some relationships like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you crisscross enough and you actually say hello to people, it doesn't take long for people to recognize you.
Yeah.
It really does. I've never met a stranger in my life. Being quiet is my problem. Talking ain't the problem.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know. But yeah, you can definitely start to create some of those relationships and some of the little diners and restaurants and stuff that you'll find. People will remember you. I've got bartenders in 6 different cities, and I probably haven't drank there in 2 years. But if I walk through the door right now, they're like, "DumpTruck, what's up?" It's and it's not because I took my shirt off and danced on the bar. I mean, it could be because of that, because that's pretty natural for me. But it's usually just because I come through and I don't know. Talk to them like a person because I was interested, put my phone down, decided to be present in the experience I was in instead of going, damn, I like my stuff on Instagram today. Who cares? No one cares. So
yeah, I've noticed.
Might as well be present and enjoy your rep.
Yeah, I've noticed because I've going back and forth to Cali a lot and doing it on a couple different types of bikes. I noticed that I'll stop at certain gas stations when I'm riding a certain type of bike because of the gas, how long I need to stop on each one. And it gets to a point where I know all the pilots from Dallas to LA on 10 or 40, whichever way I'm going, which I usually would sleep in those pilot parking lots because of, if I'm in a truck or whatever, they just got that parking lot that's comfortable. You know what I mean? But same thing on bikes. I've crashed out in some of those places before. But yeah, I found myself stopping at them a lot. And then even sometimes when I pass them, oh yeah, I remember sleeping at that place once, So it's this weird connection with gas station stops and stuff like that along those routes that I've always thought was kind of funny and weird that I was thinking about.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's what makes it, I don't know, that's where you start to find some of your comforts that are on the road.
Yeah.
Because there's not always a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And just, having a familiar face. And I don't give a shit if people don't remember me. It's still familiar to me. And that by itself, oh, I remember this dude. Last time I saw this guy's face, this is what happened. That's just how your brain will work.
It's like hearing an old song.
And then
again.
that makes absolutely, like, no matter where you are, there's a moment of comfort there. And so you kind of, I don't know, grind a little bit, go get another cup of coffee and ride some more miles and see what happens next. But I mean, like, those little familiarities, like knowing what campground's coming up soon.
Yeah.
You know, understanding how to get around a city you don't live in extremely well. Or, you know, knowing where to go to get the best cheesesteak in Lake Tahoe. You know, like, who the fuck knows that shit that doesn't live there? Probably somebody that rides motorcycles going through the 395 all the time.
I know the best place to get a
but
waffle
it's like,
there.
I mean, see?
I've been there quite a
fun.
Yeah, I've been there quite a few times. So, but you know, yeah, it is like that. You get these, especially like for me, like I find myself leading these expeditions basically of guys that haven't ridden across country before or ridden to Cali. So it's like I find myself becoming like a I don't know if the word is ambassador or just like, hey, all right, well, this place has a cool spot here. This place is dope, and it's like I become this guy that is more concerned about these guys having a fucking kick-ass time and enjoying it the same way that I enjoy it. You know what I mean? As opposed to just like going with the flow and just like, hey, whatever, you know? Like I'm like more concerned about their happiness on this trip than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of becomes a thing, but I feel like when you ride in big groups, that's kind of a natural order. Like everybody kind of has a hive mentality, but you still have to check in with the hive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know. I feel like whenever I'm on a ride and somebody kind of knows the little spot to go to, it just makes it that much better to where I can enjoy the ride. And that person already knows where they're going. So you're not taking away from their day. You got to keep up with them. They ain't worried about you. Keep up or just figure out how to get there. Sorry about your feelings. So I mean, it's probably way better for the overall experience. Like for somebody that doesn't know about where they're at, they don't have to really try to focus on anything other than keep up with the dude in front of them and not hitting the dude next to them.
Yeah.
I like it. I hate being in that position, to be honest. Even when I know where I'm going, I'm like, I don't want to leave this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be back here. I don't want to think. I just want to follow for a minute. I'm like, somebody's going to judge me. I'm going to take the wrong turn. Everybody's going to tell a story. I'll tell you right now, I will take the wrong turn. If there's a wrong turn to be made, I will be taking it.
Yeah, I just find myself, you know, like I don't know, I'm kind of the guy that just like will do things, you know what I mean, or take the first step in a lot of aspects. So, you know, in my group of friends that I used to ride with back in the day, like I was the one that kind of was, hey, you know, dude, let's do this, man. We can ride across country, like, you know. And then I got a lot of my friends at the time to do it, and then, you know, we're all still friends and stuff, but they've kind of moved on to other types of things they're interested in, motorcycles, or some of them don't even ride no more. You know what I mean? That's just not their thing. But, you know, I always tell everybody that, like, you know, I'm a motorcyclist, like I'm a biker, like consistently, like I'm always going to be. You know, I've always said, like, some people are, it's kind of like high school. Like every year you got some freshmen and you got some seniors in the motorcycle world, right? Where you got these new people coming in, and some people that just never quite, you know, got the bug, or they might have had too many bad experiences or financial reasons, or for whatever reason they're just not as glued to the motorcycle lifestyle and scene as I am, and other people that I know. So you know, like I said, I've done this trip with quite a few different people, and you know, it's fun, you know, being that, I guess, veteran, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it is, you know, because whenever you're out there, there's excitement and enjoyment from both of it. Whenever you're out there and you're getting these new experiences and you don't know the roads yet, and you are 5, 8, 10 states away from where you get your mail, there's a certain amount of excitement to that, right? Like not really knowing what the future is going to hold. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm a big fan of physical maps and a direction more than I am a destination. Like, we're going to end up over there by some point, but until we have a sense of urgency, let's just go that way. That looks good. And then just kind of like enjoy your trip in that kind of a manner. Like you'll get all sorts of these great new experiences. And once those new experiences start to become more regular, then you get to enjoy it in a different way. Like it's not necessarily the freshness of everything that you get excited about. It's the comfort of choosing to be away and thriving while you do it that you get to enjoy.
Yeah, I guess
and actually knowing where you're going when you're 10, 15 states away.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, like being comfortable in a place that's far away, like truly comfortable, like boots on the ground, it's a fun feeling. I mean, it's a lot of confidence. Like no matter where in the country you go, you have a certain amount of confidence because you already kind of know like how people might be in that area compared to other places, and you already kind of know where you are.
Yeah, see, I feel like I'm kind of conflicted in a point too now where I totally enjoyed taking trips with people, like other friends, and you know that experience of doing a trip with somebody. But I'm falling in love with this like solo mentality of a trip where like I'm leaving to go out of town to hang out with somebody in another area. You know what I mean? Like that. I like that feeling of like, okay, my boys are in Michigan. I'm gonna ride to Michigan solo, but I'm alone on this trip, so I get to gather myself. But then when I get there, it's it's time to party. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Yeah, everybody's excited, right? Like you roll into the door and everyone's stoked to see everybody. And so it's like, and whenever you're doing that long haul shit, like that happens like every single time you stop somewhere. Every single you stop in a town where you have some friends or even people that are just drinking buddies that you end up meeting over the years. Like you don't even know each other that super well. Number one, you're about to. And number two, it's going to start as a party. Like it's a really like exciting, super fun time to be able to go like on the long haul on the road by yourself to where if you want to change your mind, you just change it.
Yeah.
You don't have to really consider what's going on. If you feel like taking a right, you take a right. If you feel like taking a left, you take a left.
The other thing,
and you want to stay a couple extra days, you just stay a couple extra days. You want to leave earlier, you just leave earlier. Like just being able to make your own decisions without considering anyone else's input for that long is really, really fun. It's really comforting.
Yeah. See, what I've been doing too this last year is that when people reach up to me and say, "Hey, man, I'm coming through Dallas," like I make them a priority to hang out with them or go see them or meet them. You know what I mean? Like if it's somebody that follows us online. And that way, because when I'm on those when I'm traveling like that, like I want that same kind of hospitality of like, hey man, I might, maybe I'm not staying at your crib tonight. Maybe you're just coming to the local Chili's and we're gonna split, whatever, some fucking wings or something,
An awesome blossom.
I didn't know if that was fucking Chili's or Outback, but. You know what I mean?
I can't remember which one the Outback one is, but they're both delicious. They make me feel like a happy fat person.
So basically, like when people would reach out to me and say, "Hey man, I'm gonna be in Dallas Thursday," I'm like, "Fuck man, like where are you gonna be at? Let's, I'll show you something cool around where you're at, or if you're, mobile, let's go to this place." Like I've done it quite a bit, and I think that I wish that same kind of mentality would start to become a more normal idea amongst bikers, nationwide. We're like, oh fuck man, like, I want to be a great ambassador for my city, for other bikers that come through here, you know what I mean? Even if they're fucking flying in on business, you know what I mean? Like I still want to be that guy that area that they're like, oh fuck man, we had a blast in Dallas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be that person that shows somebody a good time, to give somebody a positive experience about the place where you live, because we tend to be kind of proud of wherever it is that we live.
Yeah.
And it's all in a lot of different ways. Like balance is super important. If you're going to take, you need to find and create opportunity to give. Maybe not make it such an accident. Like look forward to the moment where you can help somebody out, whether that might just be having a burger with somebody at this joint and a couple of shots, or setting up your couch for someone to crash on, or giving up your own bed for someone else, or finding housing for someone else. Like whatever it is, like go out of your way. And if you don't understand why, go on the road.
Yeah. You'll understand. You'll appreciate it
so fast. Man, so much. I am so grateful for a solid 100 folks across this country that looks forward to the opportunity that I'm like, hey man, I'm going to be coming through your town. Oh, no shit. Hell yeah. All right. I'm going to go get everything cleaned up. And I come in and you can tell how much someone's really excited to see you, and they make an effort and they go out of your way. Yeah. And now you can be comfortable like the second you get there, and you can start connecting with that human being you miss because like you're truly welcome. Like having that welcome feeling on the road is really great. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to share that with somebody else? Like make it happen. Like guest bedrooms and air mattresses. Like those are the types of things, like they both come at a different cost, but whichever one you can afford, you should try to have. Because I mean, it's awesome. Why would I want to stay at a hotel when I can connect with someone I actually care about?
Yeah.
Why would I love camping alone too. There's time for that. Yeah. And there's times for hotels, like shower day. But like I would much rather connect with someone than than I would just, always want to, I don't know, have a stale existence and ride motorcycles and go to a hotel, ride a motorcycle, go to a hotel. That sounds boring.
Yeah, once we started implementing the camping on our road trips, it really changed the dynamic of how everything is interacted within the group that I'm with. I'd always say, like, if we would hotel it every night, basically, you're tired and you're like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like, I just feel like there's not that after, that post ride fun. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're going to a campsite, damn well we're going to be sitting around a campfire for another couple of hours, probably drinking a 12-pack, doing something else. But if we go to the hotel, we might get to the hotel at 10 o'clock. The hotel bar's closed, like, so everybody's like, oh, I guess we're going to sleep. We're going to check social media and then go to sleep. You know what I mean? And I've always liked the balance of that. Yeah, like you said, we need the shower days, but I also feel like those camping days, like, really just, it makes that trip more memorable. You know what I mean? I remember every camping trip I've ever been on the road, and I have a story about each one of them. You know what I mean? I can't remember all the hotels I've stayed in.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. Like, you don't make any memories of those things. I mean, you might have some fun in those things every once in a while.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, you're not really, like... But, I mean, it's just not that there's not... I don't know. You're being served too much.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you get served so much, you get removed from where you experience. Mm-hmm. And it's like you see... I mean, and that happens in a lot of different things. I mean, if you're not actually cooking your meal, it's hard to really appreciate, like, what it took to make it taste good.
Yeah.
If you never do it yourself. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, like, wrenching on your own motorcycle, whether you're doing any good or not. Like, you'll never understand the value of the cost that you have to spend when you take it somewhere. And I feel like if you are someone who does any kind of road travel whatsoever, and you don't take advantage of the fact that you can sleep in nature and connect and actually bond with the people around you, because it is like someone has to build the fire. There's a lot of community things that have to happen, even if there's only 2 or 3 people there. And then you get to breathe, stare at a fire, tell some lies. Like, I mean, like, be together.
Yeah. I've only camped alone one time, and I've talked about this a lot of times. It was at the Smoky Mountains during the hot bike tour, because when we went on that tour, I wanted to camp in the mountains there. So the whole time they were in Johnson City there, I was staying at a campsite, kind of like a little bit inward in the mountains or whatever. And it was the one time I've ever gone camping and had service. And I was alone, so I was like, fuck it, I'm sitting by a campfire, just kind of like seeing what's going on. They had a Dollar General like a couple miles away, so I picked up all kinds of ridiculous snacks to have, like some fucking honey buns and fucking powdered sugar donuts.
Everything that said Little Debbie.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself while I was sitting there, just kind of like, alone, I'm like, they got bears in this fucking in these mountains. So I started Google searching it, and I found out they did, and I was freaking out. I was like, fuck, man, I don't know how to fight a bear. So I
eat your food.
Yeah, I ate the food up, and then the ones I didn't, like, I tucked them in some, like, super, like, I know they're gonna smell it still. They probably smelled it as soon as I fucking opened it. But yeah, it was the only thing that kind of freaked me out, man. Like, I'm all about camping and the nature thing, but I'm just, I'm not, like, I don't know how much wildlife I can wrestle. You know what I mean? You hear about that guy that wrestled that fucking mountain lion and killed it?
Yes, I did. That is the cool. Definition of a badass motherfucker right there.
Yeah.
He did not even look badass.
No, it was funny because I read that article.
He wasn't done living.
Yeah. And he said, like, he got the cat on the ground, and, we have a cat here in the house, and when we play with it, the cat uses its hind legs to kind of like push you off or scratch you or whatever. So he said that, when he, the cat got a hold of his arm and he took it to the ground, and he, like, the way he landed on the ground, his legs was over the cat's back leg, so he was able to choke it out without the cat being able to, scratch him with its hind legs. So I thought that was pretty badass. See, me, I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I would.
I have no idea what I would do.
Yeah, fucking mountain.
I'd probably say "fuck you." Those would be like my last 2 words, like right there. Fuck you!
That's fucking cool.
that cougar would be full for fucking 2 months.
So what else? I mean, what else is on the agenda for you this year? I mean, you're working on some things that you just got back from, and what events you gonna be at? I mean, what's in store for you this year?
This year's going to be interesting, I think. Event-wise, I'm going to do Salt River Roundup with Throttle Addiction on April 7th in Tempe, Arizona. I'll be riding the El Diablo Run with most of my favorite assholes from the Western 30 United States and from all over everywhere else. I'm emceeing the Nowhere Show in Joshua Tree on May 18th. And that's a really fun, like, it's more of a motorcycle party. There'll definitely be a motorcycle show quality to it, but it's definitely like a motorcycle party. And it's really for all platforms, and it's a little bit of a younger crowd, and it's just a damn good time. I had an awesome time last year. I'm stoked to do it again. I might go to Born Free. I'm not sure yet. I'd like to, but we'll just try to see. Then I'm supposed to be in Vegas around July 4th, potentially for another Jack Daniels event. So if you live there, we should probably party for those that are listening. I like to party. Then I'm doing Sierra Stakeout in July 19th through the 21st. One of my very favorite events to do. It's a ridiculously like super loose kind of high energy motorcycle camp out that combines like, I don't know, motorcycle parties and dance parties and karaoke out in the woods next to the Yuba River. Cool. It's pretty rad. Yeah, it's fun. And then I'm doing Four Corners Labor Day weekend, Durango, Colorado. And then I'm going to Blue Ridge Stakeout, which is done by Sierra Stakeout folks. And it's going to be in, I believe it's Frank, Virginia. And we're going to be riding all through the Blue Ridge Mountains. So back to my favorite road.
What's the Cherokee rally that's right there? Did they have a Cherokee rally right there in like North Carolina off Blue Ridge?
I have no idea.
Oh, I don't know. Like when we were at the hot bike tour, there was that going on as well down there, but I didn't know if that was the same people or whatever. But go ahead. No,
different people. It's the same folks that do Sierra Stakeout, so it'll be a similar event. It'll just be a really great killer motorcycle, like super fun, lighthearted. Let's make fun of our friends kind of a party. Yeah, and then just bitching, riding, and places to swim all day long. I am excited. I'm excited to have East Coast events this year. Last year I got to do FXR Dyna Day with Barnstorm.
Yeah.
And just had a great time doing it. I was asked to do it again this year, but I'd already gotten booked out for the dates they were working, so it was just like, damn it.
What's the dates on that? Do you know around the time that they do the Barnstorm does that?
Let me look.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind. Those dudes at Barnstorm, they're some good people, so I wouldn't mind going up there and hang out with them.
Dude, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're good human beings. Like, you want to take time away. You want to stay at least a day after, so that, I mean, you want to see the facility and all that kind of stuff, because, I mean, they've really built some great things around themselves. And, but you want to spend some time with them. Yeah, you want to drink tequila with Dad.
Yeah, I met Steve on the hot bike tour. We rode together and we sat together at one of the places that we ate at and really talked a lot. And he was a really cool, humble guy, really nice guy.
Yeah, it's I had so much fun at their event last year. Like, I ended up by the end of the night, it was like I'm done on the microphone, so now we're just getting to wrestle around. And the East Coast people don't. I mean, they play.
Yeah,
like you want to wrestle somebody. You can get down. Like, nobody's feelings are about to get hurt about something. And we're in the middle of the venue, and you got like, I don't know, there's probably 2 or 3 of us just talking all sorts of shit. And I haven't met anybody. Like, this is the first time I've met most of these people. And some of them are from Canada that I definitely never met before. And we're all just talking shit, taking turns wrestling each other, just being completely unruly. And like, every single time you get off the ground, you go over and you see Daddy Barnstorm over there still holding that bottle of tequila with a shit-eating grin on his face and hands it to you, do another shot and start wrestling some more. I mean, and the stunt shows during the day were tight as hell because they did them even in the rain. That did not stop
I was going to say it rained last year.
For us up there. Yeah, it did. I don't know the date. I'll look it up and send it to you, though.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, if you get an opportunity to have balance, right, important. If you get to do some East Coast and do some West Coast, and East Coast is, I mean, that also includes, maybe not in most people's brains, East Coast is typically like Northeast. Yeah. But East Coast is East Coast. So and they're all different motorcycle worlds.
Yeah.
If you can do, like, living in Texas, you're in a great part of it.
Yeah.
And then you get to do the West Coast. If you can do anything, that's Florida up to Maine, like anything up in there. Like, you'll have a great time. Ocean City, Maryland Bike Week is a really, really good time, by the way.
I never heard of it.
That is a fun. It's an old rally. It's not super big, but it's definitely a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to go there.
Yeah, see, so I think on my agenda was, we're doing Giddy Up next weekend. Then we host a camp out that we do that's just a really small event, and a lot of people that listen to the podcast and follow us on Instagram kind of ride to it, and it's really just geared around very simplistic, like, hey, we're just going to sit around a campfire, drink beer, ride some good roads, and then come back and talk about it again. You know what I mean? So we have a camp out we do at the end of April, and then we're going to do our big ride to Cali, which we're going to go to NorCal, basically through Texas up into northern Colorado, across to NorCal, down to Born Free, back up into Vegas and Utah and Colorado, and then back home. That's going to be for a Born Free trip. And then I want to do Sturgis, man, but, I'm wondering if, I want to do Sturgis for a lot of reasons, and I probably will, but, the Four Corners rally, man, like, that seems more intimate and more of a good time in a sense. I wouldn't say more of a good time than Sturgis, but a different vibe that's I've been kind of interested in after I've been talking to some of the friends from the West Coast about it. And then, trying to figure out a time to go east, man. I really want to see some stuff. I got a lot of friends in Michigan now, and I want to go, hell, just north, it would be nice. So
when's the last time you were in Milwaukee?
I've never been the furthest.
All right. Okay. All right. So we've had that conversation now. Now you understand me. You need to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You really do. Milwaukee is such a rad place. I am really lucky to have the kind of close relationships with a large number of people that live in the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
People know how to party. They really know how to party. They know how to have a great time. It's Harley Town. You go to the Harley Museum, and everyone that is a part of that organization is wonderful. And the museum itself is very impressive. And you need to take at least 4 hours to go there. And then if you want to go to Michigan, you take the ferry that leaves from Milwaukee and goes across the Great Lake.
Uh-huh.
And skip riding through Chicago and all that. Because if you don't plan on staying in Chicago and eating your face off, then you should just skip it all together and just take the ferry over, and then end up in Western Michigan.
So what I was actually thinking about doing.
You can do that after Sturgis if you wanted to, or even start with Durango and go east that way.
Yeah, that'd be a long one. But no, what I was thinking about doing was running up to Michigan, because like I said, we have a lot of friends on the west coast of Michigan and the east coast of Michigan, and kind of stopping through, seeing them, hanging out, doing some podcasts, and then doing the UP around the north over to like Milwaukee and stuff, and then just making my way back down south, because there's I try to, doing the videoing on the trips might be something that it's going to take a while to get into, but doing podcasts on these road trips are still fun to do, and I'd like to get more efficient at that. And basically taking a week trip and, staying somewhere different every night and talking to somebody different every night would be an awesome thing. That's what I'd really like to do, so. Yeah,
just as long as you stick to a regular practice.
Yeah.
To where you have your mode, not really a timed schedule, but a practice. This is what happens when I get off of my bike. This is what happens when I get back on my bike. Like we all have the things that we check. You leave the house, you're checking for your keys and your wallet and your glasses and your personality and self-respect, and making sure you don't leave anything behind. Like, so when you make your process the same, you'll be able to do that, because you will never get off the bike at the same time. Sometimes you'll be super late, but you still need to make an entry.
Yeah.
So never look at your watch, because it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And just go through whatever process it is that you do at the end of every night, or whenever you stop to eat somewhere, or like whatever it is where you fit in your podcast. Like, just make that your rhythm. And once you do that more and more and more, it'll start taking less time.
That's cool.
Which will make sure. And then if you want to start focusing on the video stuff, just start doing it.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more efficient you'll get at it, and then it'll be less cumbersome and more enjoyable.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good thing, because I put it on such a high pedestal of what, like, I expect everything that I ever do to be a high quality, out of the gate. And I know that
you
not
want to be proud
is.
of it.
Yeah.
You want to be proud of it. You don't want to make something for the sake of making something. You're trying to make something for the sake of maybe leaving a positive influence on the world you live in.
Yeah. It's like, even when we first started this podcast, even when we first started this podcast, like there was a lot of things that we had to learn, you know, whether it was the editing or just like, you know, trying to be better at speaking, and which I'm still trying to get better at. But, you know, like I didn't want to put out something that was so shitty sounding that it was hard to listen to, you know? So we did like 5 or 6 podcasts before we ever released one, just so we can kind of get the hang of talking on microphones and editing and all the other stuff to it. And that's kind of the same thing that I want to take with doing any type of videoing or, you know, vlogging or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is I don't want to just put something out just say I put it out. I want it to be quality, or the best quality of my ability at the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I just started doing this short video series that's slowly but surely going to become more and more regular, just as, you know, the writing season's kind of here now, and I'm in a place that the writing season is the real thing.
Yeah.
So they'll be more frequent, but I've got them on my Instagram TV, and they're like, you know, they're not just like your regular. It's all gimbal camera footage, drone footage, licensed music in the background, and I put my voiceover on top of it with whatever kind of message it is that I'm putting out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it'll be funny, sometimes it'll probably be not funny.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I don't want to do like a whole bunch of these things. I want to like do one a month.
Yeah.
Because it'll take that much time to gather that much kind of miles for me to actually want to share. And then like over a month's experience, you can really share something like that with a video process, because it is a process. It takes time.
Yeah. I like those videos you did too, because I don't know. I mean, you do well in front of a camera as well, but at the same time, I do like the aspect of more of a voiceover and more visual shit that people can see. You know what I mean? Like, I have a few ideas I want to do of videos as well. That I guess I really don't want to be a guy in front of a camera, if that makes sense. You know, like I guess I get to hide behind it. You know, the microphone here. You know, and it's comfortable, but man, that camera shit just freaks me out, dude.
Yeah, it's different. Like, I prefer, like, even though I'm a stage man, like by vocation, I really do prefer to do voiceover. Voiceovers are my favorite thing to do. Like, in the future, I will have my house that I've made out of sea containers. I'll have about 50 to 100 acres out there somewhere with shit that I grow to eat and animals that I have out there to take care of for tax purposes, and probably dinner every once in a while. And I have my voiceover studio. That's what I want to do. Like, keep me close to the city, but keep me peaceful out in the middle of nothing with the voiceover stuff. And it's funny because, like, for me to not want to be, like, I don't know, where I have been for the last 10 years, which is, like, always in your face, always in front of people. And, like, now there's some potential, like, television things that are happening, too.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really don't want to be on camera. But if I can end up doing some of those other, like, you know, broadcasted options that have a really huge audience and my voice can be heard, and that leads to voiceovers, then I'm down.
Yeah.
I'll have fun no matter what, but I prefer to do the same thing. I don't have a desire to be well known.
Yeah.
I'd rather be heard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can't put a face to the hooligan and buffoonery, then I can get away with it for a whole lot longer.
Yeah, you know, like I don't want to sound, I don't know if I am or not. Like, I don't really, there's a huge part of me that doesn't necessarily want that kind of attention, I guess. But, you know, as far as like being the guy in front of a camera, or being the guy that's doing this podcast, like sometimes I don't like doing it, but to me it's a means of something I enjoy and something that I love doing and something that I really believe in. And so I find myself in like this weird spot of like, I really don't want to do this shit, but I really love this shit. You know what I mean? And nobody else is doing it, or nobody in my group or my circle or my reach is doing it. So fuck it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a weird spot to be in sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And it's the barrel of emotions that are involved when you go through that entire process of even making the decision that you do want to actually like go for it and do it. And when you realize, after sitting down and brainstorming with your crew, like what that actually means and how much time it's going to take, and some of the training that everyone probably needs to take some of. Yeah. And just like what all is involved, that you still try to do it because you want to do it. Like, that means you're doing something worthwhile. Like, even with all the understanding of, you know, I have these responsibilities that are necessary in my life, and I'm going to continue to take this large amount of time and invest it into this personal pet project, because I really, whether it's good for you to simply share, whether it's good for you to learn perspectives as you have these conversations with other people on your podcast and you grow from that, and that's the whole purpose, that makes it just as worthwhile as you reaching out to somebody else in the community and inspiring them to just go ride their motorcycle cross country and go see Monument Valley. Yeah. Instead of just hearing about it all the damn time, which I highly recommend. Go see Monument Valley.
But no, that's a good point. That is the case, man. It is a weird place to be, But yeah,
passion, baby. It's passion.
But I do agree. I like the, you had said it at the beginning of this podcast about how it does feel good when people do reach out and they tell you how this has helped them or what you've done, or, something like that has really helped someone find insight. Because I've been the guy that's reached out to people as well. Like I have no shame in like saying like, hey man, like, I heard you on a podcast and that shit spoke to me. You know what I mean? Or I saw you do this video, or you did this ride, and it just really inspired me to take that leap of life. I've said that to many people, so it feels good whenever you find yourself in that seat. If I never got
that feedback, I wouldn't keep doing it. If I didn't get that feedback, I wouldn't keep doing it, because it wouldn't be for anything. It would be completely selfish. Yeah. And I do get a lot from sharing, especially when it gets like to the real moments. Like you're talking about some real life shit that like has affected you and groomed you by your whole life experience of who you're going to become. Like those kinds of real talk and real speak subjects. Yeah. Like it's really good for us to share those things. And it's also really good for other people to hear it, because maybe then they can start sharing it, because they're comfortable with the fact that you're comfortable with it. And they also understand they're not alone in the room when it comes to growing pains in the motorcycle scene and wondering why people look at them like a rookie. It's only because you are, dog. It's fine. Just stick around and you won't be forever. Or whether it's learn how to navigate through, I talk about my, PTSD and social anxiety and like all that kind of stuff all the time. And that's because it's an important conversation. And I have met some really great people through that conversation, and we've helped each other heal and understand that it's only as big as we let it be. But you never come to that if you don't share anything. If nobody ever shared anything, we'd never find out those things. We'd never want to ride through Monument Valley. Yeah. We'd never, really care about listening to a podcast, because the person sharing something really isn't doing it with any other intent than for him to do it. Whenever you actually have a greater purpose, it's like everybody wins.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm really wanting to work on is, you had kind of mentioned this back and forth about, the choice to be more selfish or be more inviting, I guess is the word. And so like sometimes like here locally, like we have a bike night that's not necessarily ours, but we do what we can to help promote it and stuff. But it's every week. We do it every week, and we do it if it's snowing, if it's raining. I've Ubered there plenty of times. You know what I mean? But we do it because the people that go there have become like, it's my cheers. You know what I mean? It's like that bar you go into every week, and it's just like, fuck, these are my dudes. I get to vent. I get to be a little more vulnerable. I get to just kind of like just decompress a little bit. And then, but it's also, there's that point of time where you're at this bike night, you're at this hangout with all these people, and it is that way where you just want to talk. And that's more of the selfish me, just wanting to go there and take from it, like take from their attention. But I also realize that sometimes I have to play this role of like, I got to be this like, hey man, who are you? Welcome to the bike night. I have to be this very engaging person. You know what I mean? And right. I find myself struggling with that a lot. You know what I mean? Like not always being the most, inviting person in person, if that makes sense.
Well, you also, it's one of those things to where like, not every day is going to be the day for that. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to need to have your cheers where you can just go do you and not have to worry about it. And you'll still meet some new dudes and ladies that come through and ride from time to time. That'll happen. Yeah. But there are those events to where it really is our responsibility. Like, especially at the shows and stuff that we that we facilitate and sponsor and work in. Yeah. And not just get to attend and go take. Like, those are really the times to where, what do you ride? Oh, I ride this, Moto Guzzi, and you're sitting here at Born Free, right? So like the platform doesn't really make sense for the event. So what? Yeah. Ask him about his damn bike. Yeah. Teach him about why you like yours so much, and maybe that changes a little bit. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
there's lots of ways to have fun on motorcycles. There's lots of motorcycles to have fun on.
Yeah. Well, I've also noticed, like, when we first started this podcast last year and we started going to some of the more local events that, like, say, for instance, one show that I really enjoy is a Texas Hill show. It's kind of a small little performance bike and chopper show. And the first night we were there, it was a Sunday show. And so we all got there Saturday, got super wasted, had a great time partying. The next day I'm hungover, the day of the show. I'm hungover. There's no service. It's
Beat.
just I'm beat, and everybody wants to have these really engaging conversations, and I'm just like not there. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's kind of like like I said, the selfish thing again is like, I like going to these bike events to be here and party just like the other guys are. Like, I don't want to be here, and like I buy a booth at places to have a place to just chill. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a different experience for me, and it's like we have social media, so all the advertising and marketing I need to do for my business, like my paint business, that stuff is good. Like, I don't need to go to a show to show anybody. Like, I'm at the show just to have fun and be there, and and I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing, but I enjoy it more than going there and setting up a tent and trying to be this this guy all day when I'm a biker. I just want to be there and drink beer and talk shit and stuff like that.
I think you should be able to. Now you're preaching my language. I think those are all things you should just be allowed to do.
Yeah.
I think if you buy the booth, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want, as long as you're not taking away from the event. If you're adding to it, it shouldn't matter how you add to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like professionally that would be qualified as something that'd be more like a lifestyle exhibit.
Yeah.
Rather than would be a retail space.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I like I said, I don't have shirts. I don't have anything to sell. You know what I mean? And the way our paint work works, it's usually like something that we quickly get booked out for months at a time. So it's a you know what I mean? Like, I don't really have anything to sell other than like
Yeah, but you still need to have a presence.
Yeah,
you still need to be in the room. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to work with anybody I don't like.
Yeah.
And if I know this other person and I don't know you, I mean, you're great, but I don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But if I did, that might change, and I might be one of those people that helps book you out from off down the street.
Exactly.
And that's really what it is. That's the shaking babies and the kissing hands part of the day. Like, just let me go meet my people, and I'll meet my people while I'm hanging out with my own that I brought.
Exactly.
And because this is what it feels like around our shop. This is what it feels like around our scene, because some people will hire you because you do or don't vibe simply for that reason.
Yeah. There's also that.
I mean, I do the same thing with tattoos. Like, if I don't really like the person, like if I don't vibe at all, like in like even like a homie kind of way, like I don't want you drawing on me forever.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against them, like at all. Nothing against me either. It's just like wrong vibe. So, I mean, but they'll never have the opportunity to have the right vibe if you don't go out to purposely go meet them or be met.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that is definitely a bad quality of mine is that I come from I grew up playing basketball for that was my thing in high school and just growing up in general. So talking shit is something I do very well. You know what I mean? But it's all it's all in good heart or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, there is that cycle. Yeah, and there's I don't know. I've learned that there's a lot of people that don't take it that way. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things about me physically and everything that people can just make fun of all the time, and I'm cool with it. Like, I don't get mad and butthurt, But at the same time, or even just stupid shit I do or whatever. Like, I've been pretty stupid on these podcasts before, getting super drunk and saying stupid shit. You know what I mean? And I'm
working on it.
Yeah, I'm just like. I'm like, yeah, man, like, that's who I am. I'm pretty fucking stupid, man, I'm just kind of good at some things. But, but yeah, you get out there and it's like, man, especially those nights we get super drunk and, you know what I mean? I always put my foot in my mouth. I'm trying to work on that, but I don't know, man. It's just part of who it is.
If the foot fits, man, shove it in there.
That's a good one.
What are you going to do, hurt somebody's feelings? You know what happens when somebody gets their feelings hurt? Nothing. so whatever. Like, I mean, I live in Portland, Oregon, bro. You want to talk about having walk through some rooms with full of eggshells on the floor? Like, and I'm usually only speaking truth. I'm not combative. I'm not aggressive. I am kind of a boisterous human being, so it can get intense if I really get on my pulpit about something. But Like here, man, like you really got to be careful. People are easily and often really excited to get offended about something. but that makes me feel like, yeah, it's like, I mean, and it's a lot of different things. I mean, there's similar vibes in other places, but here it's a lot. And I feel like it's almost my responsibility to continue to be the rebel rouser that I am, to make sure that everyone stays in check. I want to be a 90-year-old man by the time I'm 60.
Yeah.
Tell everyone to get off my lawn and flip off 8-year-old kids because I can, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good time.
That's rude. I know it's rude. It's also funny.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, man. I guess anytime, or I guess for me, is it being in this industry for so long, or just and riding bikes, it's like I got a lot of fucking opinions, dude, and they're not all the best ones. Yeah. But I have a lot of them. And you get me like 3 beers and you hit me with a trigger word and you're getting them, you know what I mean? Whether you want them or not.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, they're coming. But I mean, I think that's good, though. I mean, one of the things that, as we coexist as human beings with a bunch of different social opinions, a bunch of different religious opinions, a bunch of different political opinions, we have to remember that opinions are based on our own idea of how certain facts fall in line. They are not facts themselves. So no matter how you feel about any subject whatsoever, it's an opinion, and everyone has the right to it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make that person bad or worse than you or better than you. That makes their opinion different than you. Be passionate about your opinions, but please do not state them as fact.
Yeah.
That is how you can have some of those conversations that are hard to have in certain circles. If people actually just truly respect the fact that we're allowed to be different, no matter how much you may hate that opinion that they have, maybe that'll change over time, because we're actually still together instead of separating one another. And like, I love the talking shit factor. I think that's one of the ways. I think it's super fun. If we spent more time looking for the joke in things instead of looking for the offensive words in things, there'd be a whole lot more ribbing and laughing and joking, and a whole lot less, aggression that goes on out there, instead of somebody getting all upset because somebody said something about your sister and all they were saying was something stupid. You had to get all butthurt and create a stupid scene. Lost 2 friends. Nobody's buying you drinks tonight. Well, what you could have done was been like, motherfucker, and just laughed and just come back with something better. Or worse. Sometimes if you come back with something worse, it's better. Like, I mean, just go with it, man. Like, if you can't fuck with your friends, then who can you fuck with? That's the whole reason we have friends, so we don't have to fight each other all the time. You ain't supposed to take offense on the bullshit that we say.
Well, I think that, I've grown to appreciate, like, people, especially like people that's been in the industry for a long time, or people that ride bikes, who do have strong opinions. Even if I don't agree with them, I respect them more because they're standing for something that they've either found to be true in their life and their walk, their path. You know what I mean? And so I find that that's more. I like that more. And I mean, like I said, some people are more opinionated than others. Some people are more aggressive with their opinions than others, and like I know for myself, I try to be open minded to. I mean, I do podcasts with people, so I'm literally listening to everybody else's opinions, and some of those opinions help form my view of things. Like you'll say something, I'm like, oh, that's a way better way to say that, or that's a way better view of that topic than what I've been looking at it as. So being able to have an opinion, but also being able to listen to other people's opinions is the way I think it needs to be,
Absolutely. It's like traveling to different places all the time. Like, you learn so much by sharing and creating these new and different experiences with other people, whether you're traveling alone and that the other people are different every place you go, or you're traveling with a person or people, and that's the consistency. But like travel, you grow so much from travel because you're gaining life experience. We sit down and we speak to each other, whether it be in podcast form or just sitting at the bar, but like having a real conversation, like that is another way where we can have a lot of personal growth and gain new perspectives, because the more perspectives you gain, the more truer perspective you will have at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And it can be something simple. It doesn't always have to be like super heartfelt. And this is this new epiphany that I've had. Just a simple another way for you to look at it that helps you, I don't know, it just enlightens you for a moment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, that was interesting. I kind of thought that, but I didn't think about it because of this, like you were just saying. It's like, that to me is furthering along our own evolution. Like, let's use our brains. Let's actually connect in with each other. Like, one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion, unprofessional as it may be, that we have things like, therapy. Like, we really need to be in therapy. I think it's great for people. I'm a huge supporter of it. It's done me a lot of good. It's done a lot of people I know a lot of good. But one of the biggest reasons why therapy is a big thing now is because we do not talk to our old people the same way that we used to. Now they're usually an afterthought, put off somewhere else. And that's not necessarily, that's how society is, that's how everything runs now. Like, they've literally made an entire industry out of it. So it's really hard to not have that be the path of it anymore. But there was a time to where not only were your elders, but they were also people you just truly respected. When they said things, you took what their word as truth. Yeah. And you gained a lot of those perspectives that way. And like, the same reason why I really want to use my phone less and less is so that I get to connect with where I am. When you have those moments where you're like, I really don't want to collect any footage right now. I want to enjoy this moment on the side of the road at this vista and just be here for a second. Like, being able to be present, like, that is so very important for an actual, like, true life experience. Otherwise, you're on cruise control. You haven't really done anything. You've just technically gone somewhere.
Yeah. That's a good point, man. That's a good way to look at it all. Finding just, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. But yeah, man, it's a fun one. Like one of the things that I do, or I hear a lot, because I'm always in some kind of circle of people talking about motorcycles in one form or fashion or the other. And you ever around the guy that just, like, he follows a lot of pages on social media and he's in a lot of chat rooms, but he's never going anywhere. So he's got all these fabricated opinions about everything, and he's like, oh, in California they do it this way. I'm like, you ever been there? He's like, no. Well, he's kind of talking as if he's an expert on things because he feels like he's connected to the right Dynaholics chat room or some shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like,
right, yeah.
I get frustrated around guys like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Shut up. But also,
I agree. But
I don't need to
think about, like, why is he that way? He was probably raised to not go play outside all the time.
Yeah.
He was probably raised to stay indoors, do more things than have to do with video games, which I do love playing video games, I'll be honest. But I never spent it. I would rather go outside to do stuff or make something or go somewhere or find some way to skin my knee or something. And that's what happens when people have their own stories, is they're the people that go out and do things.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know how to do them. He's probably only been shown how to process data through a screen of some sort. And that's his life experience. So that's the reality that he knows. Well, I jump all over them whenever I find them, whenever they start talking about shit they don't know. I'm like, listen, so have you been to this? No, I haven't. Well, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like people that talk shit about Sportsters.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers never fucking owned one. Well, then half the time, there are people that don't even fucking ride motorcycles whenever somebody wants to say something about it. And it's so funny because I'm 270 pounds. I didn't get the name DumpTruck because I'm a good kisser. So if you're sitting there talking shit about my fucking Sportster, I'm probably going to fucking tell that I will take personal.
Yeah.
And I will probably get in somebody's face about it. It's like, unless they're a friend of mine is being a dick. But it's just like, listen, motherfucker, what do you know about this? You know, this, that, no, a Sportster is a girl's bike. Well, fuck you. Hell yeah, it's a girl's bike. What now?
Yeah.
Shut up. I just want to fucking slap the stupid face off their goddamn head. But at the same time, like, they just don't know. They just listen to the wrong assholes that decide that, their motorcycle is like an extension of their member. And if it's a Sportster, it can't be big enough.
Yeah, so what I notice with a lot of people, because I'm a very observant person when it comes to personalities and stuff like that, so I can try to understand my own a little bit better. But I notice it's a lot of people, especially with this age of, like, so much to visually see on social media from, like, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I mean, you literally, there's pages to follow, there's vloggers on YouTube to follow, so you can get so much information. You can kind of like be at work all day and just sit there and binge watch all these videos and look at all these accounts. And so, to some people, that becomes their information or their experience of motorcycling. And they haven't really quite done anything on a bike to give them a real experience on the open road or going out of town or leaving and staying somewhere else that night, you know? So those are the guys that I feel like I see those guys more, you know, than anything. I pick those guys out of a crowd or I can see their you know, demeanor more than I can the other guy. Like I know the guy that's ridden and put down some hard miles or tried something hard, and I know the guy that's just following that guy on social media. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. And hopefully whoever that guy is hanging out continues to go places and continues to do things and stops being that guy and then looks for someone else and helps them not be that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can totally tell. I know I've stuck out. Whenever I first started riding cross country, I guarantee you I was a little bit of a sore thumb. Granted, I also, like, I've been all over the world already, you know, in the Navy, and I was born in like South Mississippi and like raised all over the South, and so I'd moved a lot already and whatnot, and I was pretty comfortable with that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But even still, like, you know, getting to be the non-noob around the NHRA drag racing scene, like, I guarantee you, I tried too hard a few different times to try and sit in and be cool or be funny or some shit. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I probably don't want to ask my friends about it because they'll probably tell me all of fucking assholes. But thankfully I didn't quit, you know. And to me that's the whole point of doing things like what you're doing and doing, like, you know, the things that I'm doing is there's a message in there. I mean, we're making it right now.
Yeah.
And it's about go out there and do. Yes, please enjoy these things. Share these things. Share this podcast.
Yeah.
Follow these motherfuckers. Follow me. It's a fun, stupid road I'm on. And all in an effort to hopefully get you off your ass. You go do it. If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't ridden in a month, fix it.
Yeah.
I live in Portland. It rains here all the time, and there's still a way to ride.
Yeah.
Like, or do something that is beyond absorbing something else. Like, go do something. And like, that's important. That's the experience. Like, if you're going to be someone who's a part of the actual motorcycle culture, then you have to become a doer. You have to actually go somewhere. You have to, you know, if you're not a distance person and you're a crotch rocket guy, then you need to learn how to ride the shit out of that crotch rocket. Yeah. Like, you owe it to yourself to make that your tool. If you're not going to go 1,000 miles in a day, you're going to stay local to the city, well, do it with some flavor, babe.
Yeah,
and if you are going to go across country, make it cool. Like, do whatever your jam is. Whether you're racing, stunting, or just commuting, like, whatever. I mean, like, do it. Just do it. Stop watching everybody do it. Stop listening to everybody do it all the time. Just do that part of the time. Go do some of your own. Make some of your own memories.
My buddy, I don't know if you know who FXR Mike is, but we were talking last week, and he said this funny thing. So we were talking about moto vloggers, and this is something lighthearted, so all you moto vloggers out there, don't take this the hard way. But
we're gonna get offended now.
Yeah, you know how they put the camera on their mouthpiece of their helmet, and then they go ride and they talk in it and stuff like that. It's kind of like the adult version of like kids that watch other kids open presents. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
It's like
I just like watching the excitement on their eyes. I don't need any excitement of my own. I'm just going to watch theirs.
You're holding the toy. Like, my kid will be holding the physical toy that this kid's unboxing, and he's like more interested in that dude's experience than the one he can have in his own hand. So it was something that I wanted. You know, I do watch some of those videos, and some of them, you know, that stuff gets a little old, but at the same time, like, it does feel like you're just literally watching someone else play with toys. You know what I mean? So that was a weird one. Me and him were talking about it, but I don't even know where I was going.
POV. It's like point of view. Yeah. It's like Pornhub for the motorcycle world. Like, I just want to feel like I'm going somewhere, but I also want to sit in this chair.
Yeah. It's hot outside. It's cold outside. You know, my wife won't let me ride motorcycles and whatever else.
All the reasons in the world.
I used to have
like feelings. No one cares.
I used to, you know, because we would try to set up a lot of rides, bike nights, and trips and stuff, and I, you know, I'm pretty blunt when it comes to things. So, you know, like, I have kids, I have a wife, I have obviously a job, I have a lot of jobs now, and you know, when someone be like, oh man, you know, I got to work, or oh man, I got kids, I can't do this, or like you hear all these excuses, and I would always be pretty like mean back. I'm like, dude, everybody has that same shit. Like, we're all making sacrifices to enjoy this stuff. Like,
you have to make time, man.
Yeah,
you
like
straight up have to make time.
Like, I got kids too, man. Like, yeah, I'd like to do more with them, but you know, I definitely know that you could do more with yourself too. You know what I mean? It's not gonna make you a bad dad or bad mom. You know, like fucking, if you're not making yourself happy, how are you gonna make other people happy? So.
Yeah, that's truth. I mean, that is some very real shit right there, because nobody's going to take care of you but you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, and you have to make sure that the way you affect other people is in a positive manner, which requires you to take care of yourself. Or like some people like to say these days, self-care.
Yeah.
And you can make all the excuses in the day you want, but you could have gone to ride.
Well,
you could have gone camping, even if it's not riding. Go do something.
Yeah.
Like you could have read that book.
Yeah.
You could have built that fucking birdhouse. Like, I don't know, but you just kept finding reasons on how not to instead, and probably binge watch something on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just noticed a lot of that stuff.
Which I do a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Well, hey, I wanted to, before we end up getting into this, I want to talk about like when you did that video that I feel like just, I wouldn't say it blew you up, but it definitely blew up across the internet with you rocking the Sportster. You know, we got to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
How was that? Like
that commercial was funny. So I was working actually at the Nowhere show, where I'll be again in May this year in Joshua Tree. You should go. I'll post about it. You'll find it. You'll like it. You'll love it. Selfless plug. But yeah, so we were there, and I was buddies with the guys at the Tobacco Motorwear that make the 14-ounce salvage denim reinforced with Kevlar through all your slide areas, and they just look and feel like you're wearing just a normal pair of jeans, but you're actually wearing safety jeans. Yeah. So they own that company, and we talked about it, and randomly it was just like one of those, hey, DumpTruck, do you want to ride a motorcycle in your underwear in the desert? I was like, yeah, sure. What for? They were like, you really don't care? I was like, not even a little bit. What are we doing it for? And it was like, well, we're going to shoot a commercial with it. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, well, we started to talk about like the deal, like what are you supposed to get paid? 'Cause it's a commercial, right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, how about you give me a pair of breeches and I'll be wearing on a motorcycle during the shoot? And I was like, that's really all I need. They're like, all right, cool, that sounds great. And so we did like kind of like a, I don't know, 3/4 of a day's work, like getting out there and shooting and riding back and forth, and it was really fucking funny. There was a couple of times we got stopped by some of the locals that lived on the road. They're like, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we're just filming our friend in whitey tighties on a Sportster for an advertisement. And they're like, what are you advertising? And we just all started to laugh, and she was like, never mind, just like drove off. And I don't think that they knew. They're really talented when it comes to the advertisements that they do and the public service announcements that they do. Like they have really great brains and a little bit of a film background and writing background and things of that nature. So I mean, they're pros. And when they produce these things, they've done such a good job, and they keep it lighthearted. They keep the message fun, and they also make some really, really amazing safety wear. And that video blew the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I know I didn't expect it to get that big. I don't know if they like had something in place for it to get that big, but I mean, on Facebook there's a couple of different places where it has like over 6 million views on it. I mean, that's ridiculous. I do get stopped because of that commercial. Hey, are you the guy? Or someone walks up and shows like the commercial to me, like, or walks up, like at Mama Tried It, having the lunch. Like people walk up and go, is this you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, oh my God, we thought it was you. We've been trying to think about this for the last hour. And it's fun, you know? I mean, I got to promote 2 great guys, you know, small business, and bring smiles to people's faces at the same time. Yeah. And I got a pair of jeans. So
that's pretty cool.
Tight. Everybody wins.
That's nice. Yeah, like I said, man, I think I don't know if I was following you before or after that, and but for sure, like it got a little annoying after a while when every time you'd open your phone and that video was there, you had to scroll past 4 of them to see what's going on.
Shit comes up on my phone. I'm like, damn, I know how to look at my underwear. It's not that impressive. Next.
Nah.
And one of my favorite parts of the story that I do like to tell is they were like, all right, so go ahead and bring your whitey tighties out. I'm like, excuse me? What about me makes you think I wear whitey tighties?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, after all the things that you see me wear with tuck Speedos and danger Speedos and tutus and all sorts of other dumb shit that I like to wear because I like to have fun more than most people, you think I wear whitey tighties? But when you take your pants off, it's supposed to be a celebration. I was like, if both of y'all got ladies in your life, and that means that you wear whitey tighties, and that is just mean spirited.
Yeah.
I was like, if they wear pretty stuff, why aren't you? I was like, I'm wearing tiger. Actually, I'm wearing tiger stripes right now. I'm wearing the same underwear this day happened. And I was like, I'm wearing tiger stripes. Like, no, you're not. And I dropped trout right there on the side of the road. I was like, you fucking ain't right, I am. I was like, now go get me some whitey tighties because I don't own them motherfuckers and I am not spending money on them. People are supposed to be happy to see your pants come off, and I'm supposed to be sad.
That's crazy. I need to take that message in.
I
don't wear whitey tighties.
I'm here to revolutionize the world, one pair of chonies at a time.
Yeah. Well, I was
Love it.
We were at the Easy Rider show down in Austin this year, and for some reason I forgot to pack socks and underwear, and we were staying downtown, and we didn't have, of course we didn't ride down there, we just drove. It was cold, it was pretty chilly outside. So I was like, man, dude, I can't do this. I got to find some underwear. So I ended up going to like Urban Outfitters, and I'm like a little too fat for like the average, Express jeans wearing guy and Urban Outfitters guy. So we finally found like one pair of like silk, flowery underwear, and I, put them on. I was like, man, I don't know what I've been missing. I need to start buying this type of shit because it felt so comfortable.
I bet your balls felt great.
Dude. But I'm so used, to just going to fucking Walmart and buying like some fucking boxer briefs, some Hanes and shit, like a pack of 20 or something. Because when we would go on bike trips, dude, I would literally go to Walmart and just buy a pack, and I would just, when I change at a campsite, I just throw the underwear away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, sometimes that does happen for sure. It all depends on like if you're going for like a week or something like that. It's just about perfect.
Yeah.
Other than that, you usually end up doing a whole lot of laundry in your sink. Like if you really, whenever I pack for a motorcycle trip, now I used to take everything.
Yeah.
That street glad I had, I probably clapped out the fucking air shocks on that thing because loaded it down with too much shit. And that's that. I mean, you roll up, they look at you, they go, green. You've got every single possible thing you could ever possibly need. All I'm looking for is where to put my toaster oven. Like it was fucking full. And now I don't carry shit. Yeah. Now I carry like a hammock, a rain fly, and a bug fly. And I've got a duffel bag, usually like one of my sweatshop duffel bags. Those guys make this fucking awesome shit.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Super awesome dudes. Dude, they're so great. I love it. It's my favorite bag. And and I have, if I'm going for a long time, it's usually 8 pairs of everything. 8 pairs of socks, 8 pairs of underwear, and probably like 3 to 4 t-shirts and 1 other pair of jeans and some rain gear. Yeah. And that's it. And then if I got to bring cameras and shit, that's extra. But like if it's just for me when I need to go for a ride, like that's really all you need. Yeah. I mean, that's really it. You don't even really need another pair of shoes. I mean, like it's good to bring a second pair probably, but everything now is just basically in a half empty fucking duffel bag strapped to my sissy bar. Yeah. That's the best go bag ever.
Dude, when I first...
but it is nice just to be able to wipe and run.
Yeah. When I first started doing
that's what El Diablo Run is going to be. El Diablo Run is going to be a place where you don't want to bring underwear home. You just... whatever kind of pearls that sand is fucking created, you want to leave in Mexico. So you just make sure they stay there.
Yeah, I remember that. Like when I first started riding, doing like some long distance stuff, I was on a big wheel bagger, and I swear, man, I had like 3 pairs of shoes in there. Like I was like, when I get to the hotel, I'm trying to put on nice clothes and go, just look expensive. You know what I mean? And then when I started doing the trips on the FXR, then I used to buy a new pair of shoes to take a trip in. It's just like something like, I was a shoe kid when growing up. I always had to have new shoes and stuff. And then like I bought these badass pair of Nikes, like $150, and then my FXR ruined them on that trip, just leaking oil all over them and burning the exhaust, burning it and shit. So I was like, fuck. And now I just buy like some cheap ass $50 Vans, and if I'll take a nice pair and a shitty pair, that way I can ride in the shitty pair, and if we're gonna go out and do something somewhere, then I'll put on the nice ones, and that's it. So 2 pair of pants tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the less you take, and you probably still won't use everything.
Yeah. Especially,
I got tired of carrying too much shit for it was like 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I carried everything. And after that, when I went to repack, it was when I was going to go to the trip on the Sportster, so I had to change everything. I don't have all the room anymore. I was just like, wait, all right, so what do I really need? And once I did the cross-country trip on that fucking 4-speed piece of shit, oh, man, that thing was so far up my ass by the end of that road trip. It was terrible.
Wow.
But once I did that and came back, like, now I can't pack any other way because it's way less to keep up. It's better for your mileage. You lose less shit. I mean, you're gonna leave with 3 T-shirts. You're gonna come back with 15.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not gonna run out of clothes. Worry about your underwear and your socks, 1 pair of pants, maybe an extra pair of boots, or like Converse, like whatever the fuck you want to bring that's extra, and just fucking rock and roll. Camelbacks are always a good idea.
I need to do that. I want a fucking sweet ass cup holder for my
Camelbacks
T-bars.
are great. No, you're fired.
Come on, dude. a badass cup holder and a bendy straw.
See, you badass and cup holder. Those things, like those don't really like. It's like north and south poles on a magnet. Like they really don't mix well. I don't know that I could ever be dude, such a badass cup holder on your motorcycle, bro.
I'm just gonna try to customize it, make it look cool somehow. Like maybe get it chrome plated or something, or I don't know, engrave it.
If only you knew someone that could paint.
Yeah, for sure.
Really,
put a mural.
Really
on it.
really efficient.
Well, cool,
cup
man.
Holders. Man, that just hurts my feelings. You said that.
Well, shit, man. You got anything else, man? You got anything coming up or anything that's you want to plug or anything? We're gonna start wrapping this up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, over the next few months, partying by yourself is really fucking boring. So come see me at whatever events I'm at. I do not do boring shit. Come to the Salt River Roundup at the swap meet in Arizona. All this stuff's going to be on my Instagram as it comes up. If you're in Southern California, I hope to see you at El Diablo Run, and please go to the Nowhere Moto Show. And look at my schedule as the year keeps coming. Four Corners Motorcycle Rally is going to be bitching. Sierra Stakeout, Blue Ridge Stakeout. Let's create some memories. We try real hard to remember later on. We'll remember them through photos.
For sure.
Let's do it. Yeah. Listen to this podcast. What's
your Instagram? Are you on Facebook or anything like that? YouTube or any of that shit? Or?
Yeah, if you just type in DumpTruck as one word, on Instagram it's DumpTruck _, but by the time you type in DumpTruck, it's the first thing that pops up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Facebook is just DumpTruck as one word. And I've got a website if you care to look at some of the other stuff that I do. There's some on camera like examples and voiceover reels and stuff, and it's ispeakgood.com.
That's cool.
Because I do, man. I speak good.
Nice. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you doing this podcast with me, and it was awesome, man. I really like it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you got it, dude. I was really stoked. Patrick from Royalty Racing in New Orleans, like he and I were talking about y'all a good bit. He plays you guys in the shop, and I stayed with him recently. And
yeah.
So whenever you hit me up, I was like, "Hey, Patrick, you're gonna have to listen to me at your shop here soon." So it's good to be connected in a bunch of different ways. He is, man. I love that dude.
I want to go back down there and hang out with him again. We didn't spend enough time down there, so I want to make that trip.
Well, I'm
again.
probably moving down to New Orleans in the fall. So
serious.
If you end up doing it after the hot month, we'll probably be able to do a little boogaloo shang-a-lang together.
Hell yeah. That's an easy trip. I mean, you can do from here to New Orleans anytime, man. Like that's
Oh yeah.
You're not going to catch any really shitty weather.
I will absolutely do that.
So yeah, cool,
no,
man.
I will absolutely do that. So probably after the Four Corners Motorcycle Rally, I will probably be on the way to Louisiana.
Nice.
So I'll probably just take that trip from Portland to there, do the job, and then keep going on to Louisiana and move into wherever the hell it is I'm moving to.
Nice.
And somewhere in New Orleans, Louisiana. So if you're in New Orleans, you like to party, you like motorcycles, then spring break, have a soup.
There you go.
Dude, thank you so much. We've been talking like we've met before. This is great.
That's how this works, man. Like, Anytime you get to have like a good in-depth conversation with somebody, you'll find so much about each other or just individuals that you're like, I like them. You know what I mean? It's hard not to like. I've never done a podcast with somebody that I didn't like. You know what I mean? But I wonder if like I would have met you randomly, like if we would have just like met at a bike rally, I probably would have been that guy that I was talking about I am sometimes, you know? And we probably never would have got cool. But because we're isolated and we're forced to have a conversation together, it's like we're listening to each other. So we end up liking each other. So I think that listening to people is what really helps the whole liking and, you know what I mean? It helps that out. Just listening.
It does, definitely.
So
it does. Listening is huge. I totally agree, man. Well, thanks for including me. I'm going to keep listening. And anytime you want to catch up, you just give me a holler.
Hey, cool, man. Well, hey, thank you. And we'll talk to you later. Okay, buddy?
You got it, baby. Work it out.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, that was DumpTruck. He's a great guy, as you can't already tell after you just listened to him for almost 3 hours. So, yeah, thank you, sir, for doing that podcast with me, man. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to, like you said, having a beer with you somewhere, putting down some miles with you. So I'm really looking forward to that, and thank you for taking the time to check out this podcast. So I also want to thank D&D Exhaust. You know what I mean? You can always check them out at dndexhaust.com as well as DND Exhaust on Instagram. And don't forget, you can phone in orders at 844-DND-PIPE. Use Fast Life for a percentage off of your order, so check that out. Also, don't forget about Texas Performance MC. You can check them out online as TexasPerformanceMC.com as well as on Instagram. And you can always stop by Mark's shop there in Cedar Park, Texas, or see him next weekend at Giddy Up. I also want to thank Paint Up for Metal Flake for everything they do for us and everything they do for the custom paint community. You can also follow him or check out their website at painthuffer.com and place your orders there and all this, that, and the other. I also want to thank you guys for supporting this podcast. Our Patreon, you can check that out at fastlifegarage.com on the front page, as well as the Fast Life Podcast. You know, you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And another thing I kind of wanted to bring up, you know, as always, we want to grow and have more people on the podcast, and well, I think this might be easier. Like if you got people that you want to hear from, or that, you know, like shops or individuals that you think are good, you know, reach out to the individual and tell them about the podcast. You know what I mean? And then maybe come tell me or whatever. But I feel like, because sometimes when you guys reach out and you tell me about somebody and I reach out to them, sometimes it's really weird and awkward. You know what I mean? They kind of come at me in some ways like they think I'm trying to get something from them. So maybe, you know, as if you're fans or you're interested in somebody else is doing, if you reach out to them and let them know that you would love to hear their story on our podcast, when I reach out to them, it becomes a much easier deal to get them to agree to it or make the time to come on the podcast. So either way, you know, we really appreciate it, and we enjoy the fact that, you know, we've had a huge growth in listeners the last month and a half, you know. So I want to thank you guys for that, and I hope that you you guys that are checking out old podcasts are, you know, interested. So thank you, and you guys have a good week, and you know, we'll have one more podcast before we see you guys at Giddy Up next weekend. So y'all be safe and have a good time on those bikes.